Today's show is brought to you in part by Lisa Mattress. Lisa was founded with a simple goal: to help people sleep better. And with an innovative direct-to-consumer online strategy, Lisa's 100% American-made mattresses are challenging the traditional mattress industry. Forbes even named it one of the top 20 startups to watch. See for yourself why everyone is raving about Lisa by trying it in your home 100 nights risk-free. And right now, you can get $75 off a Lisa mattress with the offer code BOMBCAST at LEESA.com.
Hey, hi, it is Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2017. It's the Giant Bombcast. I'm Brad Shoemaker. Jeff Grossman's back.
Hello!
Jason A. Stryker still here.
Hey, how's it going? Never going anywhere.
Ben.
Hi.
You haven't fled.
Ben.
Not yet.
Screaming yet.
Not
Ben
yet.
Pack.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wait for my options to vest, and then I can run screaming.
Yep, smart. Then you can get the hell out of here finally.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Hello!
what happened last week?
Oh, I was out seeing video games.
Where the hell were you?
I don't know if...
I went to Los Angeles. Well, I went to the Los Angeles area.
Probably should have asked before this podcast how much of it you can talk about.
Not that much.
Yeah.
A few things.
Yeah.
So prior to E3, companies get together and hold like kind of a string of events. Usually, the details of those events are kind of held until E3, so it's kind of a chance for people to get a handful of hands-on time with some games. Increasingly, there's a mix of events that are like not necessarily part of the like judging part of it.
That's kind of why I asked,
Yeah.
because A, one of those events straight up got live streamed.
Yeah,
And
and
B, like some of the other games that you were seeing down there got announced.
But
out of nowhere.
like there are cases where like
Obviously,
I've played
you
a game that's
can-
been
yeah,
announced,
you
and I
can't-
can't say that
you can't
until
necessarily
whatever,
talk.
or,
Yeah.
just like.
But don't worry, the week is still for you. It's still Judges Week.
Yeah, I guess.
It's all for-
yeah,
all
well,
for you.
it's, so all of it is kind of in service of the idea of there being these E3 awards. So kind of publications will opt in to be a part of this thing, and or asked to be included in this thing, and some determining factor. I don't actually know. And so yeah, for the past 4 or 5 years, no, it's more like 6 or 7, I guess, for us. I've been doing that. Last year's pre-show week was very thin.
It was weak.
Yeah.
It was a weak week.
It was very weak. It was more. It was like 2.5 days.
Yeah.
That's how.
Honestly, I was almost surprised they had it again this year after last year.
Yeah. It was kind of
felt like it was on its last legs.
The state of like what is E3 and all this other stuff. This year there was more stuff, and and it's interesting. 'Cause, people hear bits and pieces out there about like what this thing is and all this stuff. So like I get this influx of questions going like, "How is Gran Turismo?" Like they're asking this amazing question that they know I can't answer, and the answer is like that's not there. Like that's the first party stuff is rarely there.
Yeah, the biggest misconception that I hear about this Judges Week stuff is that people think you see literally everything at E3 during this. Like
anytime Microsoft has been there, like the first time I was part of the week tour and Microsoft was there, it was to show that top-down Halo game running on phones and Surface tablets.
And nothing else.
Yeah, and that was it. It's
Even the companies that show up at this thing are going to hold their best stuff back.
Definitely.
For
But,
the press conferences.
Off the record, how's the PS5?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And is it you can play 2 games on it at the same
2
time?
games at once. It's got
what I
a
heard.
controller kind of splits in half.
Wow.
So for like a left brain, right brain. So
Yeah.
you're kind of doing this sort of stuff.
But you
And-
can't
and-
play it with 2 different people. You have to play it by yourself.
No. If it's determining, there's like a biorhythm thing in there. If it determines that like there's a different heartbeat happening on one side than the other, it's just the whole thing shuts off.
Yeah.
it's
Say
just
you
like-
sort of
fucked.
snap each game to the side of the screen?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a whole innovative, never been done before.
Yes.
Someone saw the kid from Modern Family walking around that Destiny 2 event.
Okay.
So
Isn't that kid like a legit genius or something?
probably,
like that?
I don't know.
He plays a dumbass on the show, but I think he's like a member of Mensa or something.
I'm sure I could kick his
Oh,
ass.
well then.
Yeah.
He's a big Destiny fan, so.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. Apparently a big Destiny fan. So yeah, like there was an event like that where it was like here's like they're inviting a ton of people to this thing, and then also ones where it's like here's 15 people getting a presentation on an upcoming game, and that sort of stuff. So it is always an interesting week. It's always seems worthwhile, both on the kind of just, hey, let's get a look at some games ahead of E3 so that we don't need to go see them at E3.
Yes, it's
So,
good recon.
Yeah, it helps kind of balance that time there.
Yeah.
And also it's kind of good to sit on a bus with a bunch of other people that are at a bunch of different publications for a while.
Get the pulse.
Yeah. Get that sense of just like, so is it fucked
Catching
there
up, yeah.
or not fucked, or like what's the level of fuckedness at all these other places? And
You guys should do like a state of the industry address
Yeah.
just to the public, on behalf
yeah,
of all
on
games.
behalf of all games, from the bus, from the bus taking us from
On
one thing to the
Mixler
next.
from the bus.
Yeah.
We're coming to you live from video games.
Yeah, we're here at video games. No, it's interesting. Whatever. It's useful. And yeah, so there are a handful of games from that thing that I can already kind of talk about, and some that I probably could talk about, but not one specific thing about them. Like I played Sonic Mania, and they're like, hey, don't talk about this, and this till this date. But it's like they've shown builds of that at so many different places that I can say it's a old Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited to make your own self?
That I can't talk about.
Okay.
That's the one thing.
Though the answer is no.
Regardless of what you
Regardless
saw.
of what I saw or didn't see,
Yes.
which I actually didn't. That was not available to fuck around with.
But you can be a dog.
Yeah, you could be a dog.
I think dogs have double jumps.
I think the thing I would want to do with the Sonic original character creator would be to create like all that old Sonic 1 concept art before he was a hedgehog, where he was literally a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Like all the other characters they drew going like, maybe this is our platform star.
Wow.
It's a bulldog. He runs. I don't. Yeah. There's a bunch of weird shit like that I hope that like you can create like pixel perfect. What is that character? All that sort of stuff, or not pixel perfect because it's the new Sonic, not the old one. The old one seems like whatever. I might have said the same thing about Sonic the Hedgehog 4 before it came out, but that game seems like the thing that people want when they say they want a new old.
So
Sonic
is this Sonic
game.
5?
Sonic Mania? I guess it technically would have to be Sonic. I don't know.
Sonic, we give up. You guys do.
I don't know. It's a greatest hits thing or something. I don't know. It's a weird different thing. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I went to that Destiny 2 event and played a bunch of Destiny 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
go on.
You got 1 minute.
Nope.
Yeah.
1 minute.
1 minute.
It's a Destiny minute.
2.
Times 60.
Destiny minute.
Did you have to remember your BattleNet login?
I did, yeah. I was like, oh shit, no. That was interesting.
Yeah.
That they're like, hey, this thing's basically not on Steam. It's exclusive to Battle, and they kept
Also,
using the
they're
words
back to
BattleNet.
Yeah.
Back to the name BattleNet again.
Which they called it. I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't
what
make
the hell?
sense to call it the Blizzard launcher, which is what they changed it.
It was
to.
like a month ago.
But they have utterly debranded that client. Have you launched that client recently?
No, I've not.
Like it is now. So I had to reinstall it recently, and now it installs as the Blizzard client. And like the little icon in the
Okay.
system tray says Blizz.
Okay.
Like the word BattleNet is completely scrubbed from that.
I wonder if
thing.
they just
So,
couldn't like protect the copyright to BattleNet in some way
if they
that it
weren't
just made
actively-
sense that
if they didn't actively use it somehow.
if they just kind of like decided to forego that or something. But
BattleNet's a good
But
name.
you will notice that in
BattleNet's a
that
great
announcement
name.
and all the press material and all that other stuff, they straight up call it BattleNet over and over again.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that
they're gonna-
means.
I mean, everyone calls it BattleNet,
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
even
maybe,
if they don't officially call it BattleNet anymore.
Like
Yeah,
how
maybe.
long? When did that start? Like Warcraft 2
yeah,
or something?
That sounds
That's-
right.
Like, dude, people know what that is.
Yeah.
Don't
Battle.net.
But also now
great
that-
name, great URL.
Right.
Just perfect across the board.
And now that they're going to start shipping non-Blizzard games on it, calling it the Blizzard launcher seems a little silly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe that's what the catalyst is. Maybe they're just going to start to rebrand it
Yeah.
BattleNet.
I expected a huge outcry when they made that announcement, and I feel like, and anecdotally, I feel like the majority of people are going like, "Yeah, good, fuck Steam."
There's a
Or
weird,
a lot of
yeah,
people were-
there's
There's
I don't
maybe
know.
there's some of both.
There's a back and forth. I
Yeah.
think people's feelings about Steam and other services and all that sort of stuff. I think a lot of that, if you think about it, a lot of people bought Overwatch.
I mean, yeah,
So and I didn't see people going like, oh, it really sucks that Overwatch isn't on Steam.
yeah, but that one you expect.
Yeah,
You know,
like
like all the Call of Duties are on Steam. You kind of assume that Activision games are going to go on there.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
it's it's
But
Blizzard stuff in particular.
if you think about it in terms of by selling games on Steam, they're giving 30% to Valve.
oh yeah, I get the business case.
It's crazy.
Obviously,
that, you know.
it's just, I mean, for me, like my Steam friends list is the only one I actually like curate and pay attention to
Right.
and care about. So like now I would have to go build up my
You have to remember the number that comes after your username.
Yeah, right?
And,
I wonder. Maybe I wonder if that's just a number of factors. Like, there's the business reason of like, hey, let's keep all this money for ourselves.
Yeah. I have to assume that's the only real, true reason here.
But I wonder if part of it is like, well, we've now shipped a first-person shooter on this service, and we've proven that there's an audience for that style of game here. So maybe it makes a little more sense there. Anyway,
it's not the end of the world. It's
no, I think it's fine.
Anybody that wants to play that game on PC will get by.
Yeah. Battlefield did fine on PC.
Yeah,
that's they're like a lot of people complain about the Origin client and Uplay and all this other stuff, and
it's a non-issue.
I mean, the Origin client's still pretty bad.
What is a big issue to me is that it's not coming until later, right? The PC.
So they were. I think they were kind of non-specific about it in terms of like launch timing and stuff like that. But I think the implication was that it might not be their day and date on PC, which
that's.
Yeah,
that's shitty. That's the thing where it's like,
that's,
okay,
that's worse than BattleNet by far.
Between the Sony version getting
exclusive
whatever its extra stuff is, and that version launching later, like that, I think will lead to a lot of Destiny 1 players just making their decision based on like, well, I'm just gonna play it here.
Yeah. I mean, the content for me trumps everything because hopefully this one's
the
got
exclusive
more
stuff in the PlayStation versions of Destiny 1
it was a strike.
It was a strike. It was a strike.
Huge. When there's only like 3 strikes in the shipping game.
It was not a great strike.
But having one extra, like when that's all you have left to do in the end game is to run strikes over and over
that's
every
a larger
week.
problem.
I know it is, but I'm saying like that
Was it more the content or just like all your friends were there, or is that like a byproduct of?
I think it's one leads to the other.
Also,
in some ways, right?
honestly, I mean, what did the PS4 version have? Like 3 or 4 bonus exotics or something? Like that's kind of a lot in Destiny terms. Like
at the time, no one knew that.
Yeah, but once
at
you
the time,
got
it was
there,
hard to get a sense of like what that actually.
Once you were like 3 months in and you were realizing like, okay, well, this and this I can only get here. Like there weren't that many guns. You know?
Yeah.
Like every little bit helped with the extreme dearth of content in that game.
Right, and I hope that that's what Destiny 2 will solve. That's the thing I kind of come away from playing that game thinking like, Destiny 2 is the game that Destiny 1 should have been at launch. Like that's from playing it and kind of getting a sense. So I played the story mission that they showed as part of the stream.
Intro mission?
Yeah.
Is that must be the first mission, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah. So I played that. And it's a little more talky. There are characters. There are kind of like cinematic moments in that mission.
Yeah. I mean, they've been going in that direction with the last 2 expansions.
And you look at that and go like, well, this is better than the majority of Destiny 1 missions by a fair clip, just in terms of just how, things happen in it. It's not just run up to this thing, hold down the button, the ghost looks at something,
quips,
and then you move on. Like, that's the majority. When I think about Destiny 1, I think about that act, which, to be fair, I did that a couple of times in my time with Destiny 2. But
did you guys play through the story in Rise of Iron?
I think so.
There's
I
like some
I played most of it.
Pretty good like scripted stuff in that thing.
Yeah.
So like they've been kind of like honing that ability for a while.
Yeah. So this just seems like them carrying on from that, and trying to make story missions that matter. That was kind of the takeaway I got from that. Assuming that the rest of the story is up to that standard, I guess, which would be good.
I would be happy with a story that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be a good
story that is a story.
And feels
if
complete.
there was a story,
feels written by humans.
Yeah. That would be pretty good, I think. Then I played the multiplayer, which is a 4v4 attack and defend mode. I think it's called Countdown. And it's round based, so you win by either dropping the enemy team or setting off a bomb or disarming a bomb. So it's like there's an point A, point B. Run up, set the bomb. That starts a timer ticking. Even if you drop the other team, if they have a bomb planted, you have to go defuse it in time, or they still win.
The whole multiplayer is not 4v4, right?
So
I saw some. I saw people complaining about that because it was.
There was definitely like they said, and every mode is now 4v4, which I don't remember what the player count was.
6v6.
Okay, all right. So they're dropping that down to maybe more manageable teams, or I don't.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they've got good like balancing reasons behind that.
Or just like, hey, the map sizes and stuff like that, like these are going to make for faster, but I don't know. Maybe. Like PvP in Destiny 1 I thought was just boring.
Yeah, I kind of grew to like it, but mostly because they forced you to play it so much.
Yeah,
like I kind of got into it because I wanted like the Iron Banner shit, Right. It's like I wouldn't have played it if I didn't have to, but it was okay.
Yeah, I mean there are better options for like shooter multiplayer out there on those consoles. Like that's not
Sometimes
that's not why I'm there.
Sometimes it got interesting with like mix and match of powers and like kind of finding interesting combos of weapons and
Yeah, I wouldn't say that
stuff,
it's bad.
but-
I just say that to me it just seems superfluous. It was like, all right, and then people got way into it, which I think is crazy, but whatever. So that I don't know, that mode seemed fine. It seemed like more Destiny multiplayer. I still kind of only want to play just regular deathmatch in that game. So hearing them say every mode is 4v4, I'm like, well, wait a minute. You had like a straight
there's
up
got to be a
non-team
There's got to be a free
in
for
there
all.
before. Is that just gone or what? So I don't know. That seemed fine. I don't know. I like if they hadn't said, "Hey, this mode is new," I would have said like, "Oh, that mode was definitely in the first game." I'm sure, right? Because they've had their objective modes.
Yeah,
but whatever. It seemed fine. And then we played the strike, which I think the strike is really good.
Cool.
It was again like the story mission. It was like it's a strike. It's a really good strike. I thought the boss fight was fun. There's some good crazy moments. These saw blades kind of rotating around, kind of coming at the player that like it'll just drop you if it hits you. You're kind of walking around the outer edge of this kind of drill mechanism, and you have to dodge these big drill things.
What's loot like?
So they started us out with kind of prefab characters and nothing dropped. But
What level were you?
20. So
it's
light
one-
is still
1
in
to
there.
20?
20, the level 20 is still meaningful in some way. Which I would have thought that the light system always felt like this bad bolted on thing to me.
Well, it was terrible in the first year, but then they completely remade it after Taken King is when they remade it after Taken King, and then they refined it even more after this. In the third
still,
year. Like
you
it's,
know,
it's,
with-
it has a totally different meaning now. It's just an
Right.
aggregate.
Yeah.
it's just a
Gear
rating.
score
It's just a
kind
rating of
thing,
your power. That's all. It
which
is.
I just that's fine, I guess. But I would rather see them just like say fuck it, add more character levels and have that still be meaningful or something.
Yeah.
That's just it just seems like a weird bolted on thing. It looks like gear now has stats on it in terms of agility and stuff like that. You see the 3 bars that used to be
they
on,
always
on like
had
the subclass, but like armor
Wait, what do you mean?
has like agility and all this other stuff.
Yeah. All that does is affect your cooldowns.
No, this is different stuff. I think not the.
Well, it was strength.
Or this looked like different stuff.
Okay, what was it? Strength.
Maybe it is.
discipline?
Maybe it is. You know what? We have to watch the. So I came back with a bunch of video.
Yeah, we
and
should check
we'll
that
go
out.
through and watch it because
Yeah.
I hovered over everything, but didn't have time to read all of it. So
Maybe
we can pause that video.
Yeah,
and
maybe
get
they
a
just
sense.
renamed some of that
Strength
stuff.
affects your max HP. Agility affects your armor and
Go
how
on.
fast you attack.
Uh-huh.
Is your mana pool, and then whatever your primary stat
Oh,
is,
that's your-
that adds the damage.
Oh,
to
got it. Okay,
It's really simple
Oh.
stuff.
I see.
But them having bars next to it because I think about it in terms of like those bars used to exist in the subclass, where you would say like, oh, I'm going to spec in favor of this over this. Like that was all subclass stuff before, and now they've got bars on the armor, which makes me think it's different. But we'll have to go look. The subclass stuff seems revamped in terms of just like here's a collection of powers. You have one new ability that's like holding down the circle button. So like for Titans, there were 2 abilities. One was like low cover.
That's
You would
different from your like super.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's a different cooldown. So it's like 3 cooldowns now.
Huh.
All right.
Oh, so that goes. That's in the like grenade and melee category.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so for the Titan, that's the one I used most was like it would just spawn a low shield that you would automatically take cover behind, and you could pop up over it and shoot. And that was pretty neat.
Didn't affect anybody else on your team? Like it
They
wasn't
could
big
get
enough?
up behind it.
They
Yeah.
could? Okay.
There's also a healing aura that I think the
That sounds like a
Warlock
thing.
has
Yeah.
that like is just you hold down circle and then a little poof appears around a little zone that you could stand in.
Are those
and heal up.
part of your subclass?
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
Yeah.
I see. There's only one subclass per class, right?
There's
now?
only one subclass in the build that they didn't let anyone fuck around with.
Huh.
And my understanding is that all the old subclasses are coming back, and there's one new subclass. per class.
Okay.
But I guess I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't. You couldn't go into the inventory screen, the sub screen.
Oh,
either.
you couldn't
Like,
actually
it was
see
a limited
any of that
build
stuff.
of the game.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
I could get into the subclass and look at that stuff, but there was no way to switch it out.
Are there new damage types? Because it was like solar.
I didn't see any.
Solar arc and
Yeah,
void.
I saw that stuff.
Okay.
Or at least I saw solar and arc. I don't know that I saw void.
Like I think they would need another one if they were going to do 4.
I don't know.
subclasses.
It's
Or-
the Cabal. You're just fighting the Cabal.
No, I'm saying each
Like,
subclass has a damage type assigned
it
to
does,
so
but
you either have to double up or come up with a fourth one.
Maybe.
As someone who's never played Destiny, all of this sounds like somebody who's never played Dota, listening to Dota being explained. I had no idea there were multiple damage types.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah.
there were subclasses. I don't know what
like the subclass switches out like what type of grenade you throw and what your super ability is and
Okay.
stuff like that. Like you just kind of slot it in.
A lot of the harder enemies have shields, and you need the same type of. So the shields are damage attuned, and you need like the same.
Oh, so you
type
want to
of,
match, you don't want to counter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you could kind of ignore that stuff for most of the game, and it's only at the very
Yeah,
end
that's
that it gets
at
hard
like,
enough.
The high
that-
levels with modifiers on
Sure.
missions,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to start.
No, I mean
worrying about that stuff.
that's a cool way to balance enemies, right? Make you kind of a bit more mindful of how you're approaching them and what attacks.
And then
you're
like some
throwing
of
out.
the weekly challenges will have like okay, void damage does 3 times as much at this
on
time,
you
so,
and against
and
you. Know,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
so, yeah.
Yeah. I saw some people coming away from it going, looks like Destiny 1.5, to which I would say, no, they've been shipping Destiny 1.5 for the past couple of years now. Like
Yeah,
this-
well, I mean, in that context, I would
Yeah.
say it looks like Destiny 1.75.
7.5. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
it
to be
seems
fair-
like the game they should have made
To
several
be fair,
years.
it was like 0.5 for a long time.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they
I
just-
don't-
okay, yeah. They
don't-
got to 1.0 last year,
Yeah,
I
let's-
think. So,
sure. I don't know what I was expecting, but I somehow was expecting a little more.
it's weird, like going into the menus and seeing this stuff, like it looks like a mod in some
Kinda.
ways. Like some of the menus, you're like, oh, they reconfigured the way the
Yeah,
subclass screen
yeah.
works, but it's still exactly in the same place.
Like 10
You're still-
seconds. 10 seconds of
Yeah.
that mission, it was like, wow, this looks like Destiny with like the font is different with
Yeah.
for little enemy names and stuff.
and
I was
then
like,
you've got
oh,
a third, and you've got a third cooldown because you've
Yeah.
got another move.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
new weapons and new stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like I was looking for maybe a little bit more of a fundamental rework of how that game fits together.
I think I was too.
seems like they backed off the big celebrity attachments a little bit.
I
It's
love
still,
that there's that line in that first mission where they yell something about like the speaker's gone, like where that and it's like, oh cool, so you wrote your like Oscar-winning voice actor out of the cast so you don't have to book him anymore.
Was that an Oscar-winning voice
Yeah,
actor?
Bill Nighy was the speaker and
Sure.
like he's like the most like esteemed of actors.
Lance
they had in
Reddick
that
was
game.
there at
Yeah.
the event, so
Yeah. I mean, he
he's
probably
still
lives in
it.
L.A. I'm sure he's easier to get in the
And,
booth.
that was still Nolan North doing the voice of the
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Which that stuff was a little lighthearted in a way that was like,
Yeah.
There's a spot in the Strike where he's just like, ooh, look at that, and he's like, shut up. I don't know. I came away from it feeling like this is a game I will definitely play.
Yeah.
Like it is, but it is still very much Destiny.
Mm.
Like they're not. They are not making dramatic changes to the core of that game. Like
Yeah.
you are still kind of running around shooting stuff, getting your primary ammo, getting your secondary ammo.
They didn't have
your
anything
power
playable
weapon.
or show anything of like the zones, right? Like the patrol
No,
areas.
they
like
did not.
Okay,
They
I
talked,
think that's what I was
that's
looking
the stuff
for.
where they talked about like, oh, there will be maps, there will
Yeah.
be hidden zones, and if that's like, if they have good repeatable stuff in that game, the way Diablo 3 had,
Yeah.
like where you'd open the cube portals and go in and do stuff, like
Right.
good repeatable content in those zones, like that's good.
Also, like I saw like some screenshots or something. They were talking about like there's like a lady on a farm in one place. You know,
Sure.
like the idea of finding NPCs just
Yeah.
out in the world doing
Right,
stuff. Like
right.
like I want a little bit more of that WoW like
Yeah.
kind of discoverable aspect.
Or even
you
like
know?
Diablo had some of that stuff.
Yeah,
Diablo,
yeah,
by
just
the time
like-
they got to 3,
Like the first time you're going through those areas, it's like, oh, like here's people hanging out over here doing stuff, and maybe
Right.
they have a quest for me. You know,
Yeah.
like I just want to find things as I'm roaming around in those zones.
totally.
I just really want them to like clean up the way that you have to like you go back down to orbit or something, or just like manage your inventory. And
So
shit.
now
It is such a
you'll
pain in the
go
ass
from point A to point B without going to orbit first.
Fuck it, I'm in.
That sounds awesome.
I am
You
fucking
can just
in.
pull up the map and
That
go.
is super
That's good.
useful. But I also hope they've like streamlined the way you turn in bounties and quests and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
not making you go back to
Yeah,
a hub
yeah.
every time you want to do that stuff.
That'd be nice.
I don't know if they showed that off or not.
I don't know if there is a hub.
Huh.
They blew up the hub. Remember?
There were like 3 hubs.
There were
by
by the time
by
they
the
were
end
done.
of
There was
Destiny.
multiple hubs, but yeah, I don't know what they'll do for social spaces. They didn't really get too much into that.
Yeah. I don't mind social spaces. It's just like forcing
Yeah.
you to go back there
Yeah.
to do everything you want to do.
Mhm.
Is
You should be able to do everything
Crappy.
from orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Social places are essential. You know, when you've got gear, that changes your appearance. You
yeah,
want to see what
they're
everybody
fun.
else
They're fun
is.
places to hang out, but
is rocking.
Yeah, but like I don't want to have to go back there every time.
I never
wanna pick
felt
up
like
new
I had
bounties and
any
stuff.
fun in the hubs in Destiny.
You ever kicked around a beach ball? What?
It was
Yeah.
that was for me. It was mostly just seeing the cool gear that I hadn't gotten,
Yeah.
like the really
Yeah.
high level stuff that I was never going to get.
Yeah, but that's stuff they could do at a store screen that you pull up from anywhere. You know, but yeah, you
it's
want
not
to show
the
off how you look to other players.
Yeah.
But ideally, that would be happening in these zones too. right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you're running around these.
That's the other
public
thing. I mean,
spaces.
they are unbounded from the old consoles now, so hopefully, like the player counts will go up
hopefully
in zones and
Not in
such.
multiplayer.
What's that?
Yeah,
Not in
not in
multiplayer.
multiplayer. Apparently not.
Yeah. So I think that what they said about that stuff sounds like. I mean, everything about the pitch for Destiny 2 sounds like they're well aware of what the problems with Destiny 1 were.
Yeah.
Which I think we all knew that they knew that.
Yes.
So this seems like them trying to do stuff about that and looking at like, hey, maybe it's a bummer that someone had to go build a website to figure out when the fucking events jump off. Why don't we just put that in the fucking game?
Yeah.
And they're going to put that in the fucking game.
Yeah.
So
They're putting the lore in the game this time?
I don't know. No mention of the Grimoire.
Yeah, any cards
But
in
yeah,
this?
I don't know. That'd be, I don't know.
I guess you saw some of that over time with the first game, like how you would hit on PS4, you'd hit touchpad to bring up the ghost,
Right.
and that screen was utterly useless. And then like a year in, they added like the little quest log mission objective thing to that screen.
Yeah.
Like they seem like they have been slowly iterating on the UI problems.
Very slowly. But yeah. Yes, this seems like the Destiny
more
you
of that.
want to play.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But like you, I did come away from it going like, this is more Destiny, and that's fine
Yeah.
because as it turns out, I did like Destiny.
The core of that game is pretty good.
When Destiny was good, it was real good.
Yeah.
So if they can make a game full of that stuff and none of the bullshit that was in Destiny 1,
there's merit to that.
Then that's probably good enough.
Do you guys think Destiny 1's worth playing if you never played it?
They made so many changes to it that it's better to go back to now.
Yeah. Also, I saw the Taken King edition was like $7 or $8 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Like
There's never been a better time, Ben.
Maybe I'll be back here next week with some thoughts on Destiny 1.
Maybe, actually,
God.
Vinny was asking me the other day. It was like, hey, should I jump into Destiny? Like, should we stream some of that? And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't
Oh
know.
my God. Yeah.
I don't know if people want to see the opening hours of Destiny at this point.
Yeah.
That stuff's a little played.
And I think the larger thing that they're doing, I don't know how it'll go, but they've got they're building guilds into the game, which they had like teams in there that were useless.
I didn't fully get what the distinction was there because they had what was the name for it in the first game?
The strike team? No, that was it was like you could form a
the
guild,
big ass clan
thing, but you had to do it on the website.
Wait, was it actually called the Big Ass Clan?
the big ass
thing?
clan
Pretty
thing?
much,
Yeah.
Okay.
But that thing was always useless. Like
Right.
there was nothing. All it did was let you see a bunch of people online and what
Yeah.
they were doing at
Yeah,
any given
yeah.
time.
And you could send invites.
I mean,
to
you could
them.
send them individual
Yeah,
invites
yeah.
from there, but it was
But
just
it wasn't useful.
kind of a glorified friends
It
list.
sounds like that they're trying to like enhance clans or do clans in a better way, and then they've got this idea of it looks like a looking for group thing, like an LSG type thing, where it's like hey, if you got 5 players and you need a 6th for the raid, you can open it up when what they call guided games. And so the idea there is that if a player is solo, they will still be able to find teams
like match with
people that want to do the raid, and so they can actually see the raid.
Hey guys, Jeremy's out this week. Should we just pick up some random?
No,
Yeah.
like that's the and I look
We'll
at
be
that and go like,
fine.
this is like the proper way to attack this problem, but the nature of humanity will probably ruin it.
You should
As with
only
most-
be able
most
to
things.
join as a 6th and it mutes you automatically as soon as you join the party. You just can't communicate with
So
them
the
at all.
fucked up. I mean, that's kind of the thing though, is the way those raids are built. You need to talk. And
Oh, yeah,
if you
absolutely.
can't
Okay,
communicate,
here's the thing. You put in like 10,000 different
Okay.
prefabricated
Yep.
voice lines that you can match and mix
In different
all the
languages
different
as well.
enemy types,
Right.
Yeah.
different languages, different level stages. And
Relax,
but
you're doing fine.
I'm
Yeah.
sure within 35 minutes somebody will find a way to like have 6 different slurs in there
Yeah.
just based on the 6 different things.
you
fused
fucked up the
together.
jumping.
jumping, you asshole. Just make that one of them. You fucked up this platforming segment bad, and now we wiped. You dick. There you go. Done. So I look at that and think like, that's nice, but I don't want to talk to I don't want to be the fucking 6th person on a team where all 5 of those people know each other.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. And
Kinda,
and
but
also
the-
I
I'm
don't
sure
want to
you'd
talk to
find friendly
strangers.
people out there.
Period.
I will take that any day though over 5 other randos because none of those people are going to be able to work together or know what the fuck they're
Well,
doing.
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
Valve ran into this problem with Dota, right? They eliminated basically ranked matchmaking if you have 4 people to a party and are
Really?
looking for a 5th. You cannot search for ranked matchmaking with 4 out of 5 because the 5th person would just always get reported. They'd get like flamed.
So
even
that's
if they were in the
I was actually going to say this. The thing they're doing is not bad for the one. It's bad for the other five because they're going to pick up some dipshit who doesn't know what they're doing
and then yell at them the whole time. But you're not fucking doing it right. I think it's bad for everyone involved.
We'll
see.
Or if they are good
goes.
and they're fucking up, then they're still going to take out their frustration on the one person they don't know.
Because I was going to say, like, we have kind of an informal rule in Dota now that if we have a 4-stack, we don't queue. Like, it's like, all right, well, we have 4 now. We have to find a 5th because otherwise we're going to get that jackass who's going to ruin everything.
So this just seems like I mean it seems like a smart thing to add in terms of like how do you solve this like problem that's actually weirdly hard to solve with how they build those raids.
Right.
Like for strikes, like whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, you just fucking run and shoot. It's idiot proof.
Yes. Strike matchmaking has always been fine.
Yeah. Except when people like stand there, like they just don't play, thinking that like if you're gonna run through the strike anyway and get them the shit.
Right.
That sucks. But I just don't see this working well. And they're like, you know, they tried to show it as like, oh, you as the solo player can look through all the clans and decide which one matches up with your personal affinity. Fucking I mean,
I feel like it takes a certain kind of person to want to do that in the first place, and they might be a little bit more like, you know, okay, let's say my plans fell through. I was going to go out tonight, but I'm going to stay home and I'm going to play some Destiny, but none of my friends are on, so I might as well just hop into a game. It seems like it would attract a certain kind of person who's willing to go with 5 other people, and that alone is maybe puts you at a certain level where you can deal with working with other people. Maybe I'm an optimist here, but like I think it could work out. It could,
but their stated goal is to like basically make it so more players see the end game content because those raids were the best things in Destiny.
Right. Yeah.
But they require communication and all this other stuff that like the rest of Destiny does not. So
in 2.5 years, we're going to see a news story that's I met my wife in looking for group for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
And we're getting married on the moon.
We got married in Destiny.
There have already been in-game marriages in Destiny.
Great.
So we're already there on that stuff. Or in-game proposals, I guess.
Yeah. Congrats, you guys.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have enough faith in humanity.
I mean, that's always a good rule
to really to look at this and think like, oh, this is a great way to find like-minded. Like, no.
I mean, at least they're doing something. Like, they had to try something.
And you know, like I'm looking at it from like the desperate perspective of just like actually what they should have done is dumb down the raids so that you didn't have to communicate to finish them, which is like a fucking terrible solution because it makes the content worse.
Yeah, that would be boring.
But what if you could do that?
Like that would just be a 2-hour strike at that point.
Okay.
What if they just scaled with how many people are in your party?
Maybe that would work too. But like that
would be tough because like a lot of those encounters are so intricate, like mechanically.
Like it requires a couple people doing
something.
something.
You need to stand here. You need to run here with this fucking mystical orb and throw this at this thing. Yeah, it's all kind of specific.
Yeah.
So you kind of they build it around the player count. I that's the part that I look at and go like, that's a noble effort, but I really don't see that working out. But hey, it's better than having 0 matchmaking in anything.
Yeah. Like on
that,
on a week that I couldn't get 5 people together, I would give it a shot.
Yeah.
If I really wanted to grind some gear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It seems fine.
Yeah.
And the PC version looks great.
Did you play that?
Yeah, I played the Strike.
Okay. Sounds like they're doing a good job with it. They were saying like 4K resolution.
Yeah.
It's like over 60 FPS.
They had fucking I don't know what the machines were. I know Nvidia put out a press release saying those were 1080 Ti's, which of course they were. But they were running it at 4K at 60, if not higher.
Did you try mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Fine.
Yeah.
Everything playable there was on PC? Or did they have it
on
console
both.
stuff?
They had everything on PS4 and PC.
Okay.
So I only played the Strike on PC. The thing I'll say is that the game is way fucking easier with a mouse and keyboard than it is with a controller because you think headshots are easy already.
Yeah.
Dude, just fucking rattle those things off.
All right.
That sounds great.
That sounds fun.
Which, if everyone has a mouse and keyboard, then that's not really a disparity, but I wonder if they rebalance the game at all to make it tougher on PC.
I don't know. I mean, like, aim was never really the skill focus in those games. It's more about, like, territory control and, like aggro management and stuff like that.
Yeah. But if you're just always landing those shots instead, if the percentage of headshots and critical hits you can nail will go up.
It makes hand cannons a hell of a lot more viable.
Totally. All those kind of single shot weapons, they're going to be way more devastating, I think. And I wonder if they'll do anything to balance against that, or if that's just fine.
It's all siloed off, right? Like I'm sure these versions don't talk to each other.
Or I mean, they haven't said one way or the other, but yeah, it's probably not going to intermingle at all. It'd be nice if progress could just move between those 3 versions of the game.
I imagine they'll never. They must have sold a bunch of like double dipped copies of that game. Like, I know a ton of people that play Destiny on both platforms. Yeah. So just for that reason, I would not expect them to ever let that happen. But yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. And I wonder how far they go on BattleNet. That was the other thing I thought is like, are you going to get fucking
overall skins?
Yeah, like Robot Guy as a playable character in HOTS.
Shit.
And
I
and
could totally see that happening. Because like HOTS is just like a grab bag. It's just a
or like Mercy
match.
Wings for your Titan, or whatever. Yeah, so that's what they did for Diablo. It was
well, I'm trying to think if it goes both ways because I could totally see it going.
Those were StarCraft wings, though. I guess
like HOTS would definitely get stuff. Diablo probably because they don't give a fuck. But I wonder if Bungie would be a little more.
I mean, they did the black skin for Call of Duty pre-orders last time.
Yeah, but that didn't like scream Call of Duty,
right?
Like I could see Bungie being maybe a little more precious with their fiction about like, we don't want your Diablo shit in here.
They should just put a fire bat in. You can play as the fire bat.
Yes.
Give me a Lucio gun in Destiny.
Oh,
I'm okay with all those weapons.
He rides around in a vulture.
Yeah. Or like, can you equip a ghost as a pet in WoW or something? Have it run around behind you. Like,
sure.
I think they should probably just do that.
Yeah.
And do it both ways. I wonder if this ends up leading to stuff like Call of Duty showing up on BattleNet. Like if more of Activision's stuff starts moving in this direction.
Yeah. That kind of seems like the way everybody's going, like Bethesda's got their launcher.
Right. Epic has their launcher.
Epic's doing stuff, yeah. Everybody wants all the money.
I mean,
everybody wants some.
Can't blame them. Like, hey, turns out we know how to like serve up downloads as well.
Yeah. Everybody's tired of making Valve the most valuable company in the industry.
I guess, yeah. So we'll see. I wonder if that has any meaningful impact over time or what. I guess I wonder if that's partially a factor of just like the clutter of Steam and how hard it is to stand out there. I mean, the bigger games stand out just by virtue of being the bigger games, but it is it is very cluttered these days. Yes. So I wonder if part of that is like, we'll just be on our own launcher over here and not have to worry about that sort of stuff. Or they'll sell it in multiple places in some cases. That's what Trackmania 2 Lagoon is doing.
Yeah.
Out today. Out today.
Good.
We could be playing that right now instead of this.
Good.
Wrap it up.
And then we could go to the bake sale.
What? I don't want to go to a bake sale.
Oh, okay.
I'll little Trackmania and some baked goods.
Yeah.
That sounds like a day, man.
It does sound all right.
Yeah.
I don't like to eat when I got the Mania.
Trackmania.
That's true.
Coffee cake.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I make an exception for coffee cake. The other stuff I saw, I could talk about, maybe a little inconsequential, I guess, but I played Shadow of War, which was the exact same demo you got.
Yeah.
I just got to play it.
Was it as like camera pulls out, cut to cinematic execution move as the footage we had?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, but I don't know.
It was hard to tell how much of that was contrived in that demo.
No, it's very much like it's going to cut, like if a named character dies somewhere on the battlefield, it's going to pull out and go over there and go, this guy just got yoked! Okay. And then come back to you.
Because it seemed like it was leaning into that stuff way harder than the first game,
to
the point that it almost felt like it was interrupting the gameplay a little too much.
That game's a mess, man.
There's a lot going on.
There's like, and not in a bad way, but there's... If you thought the Nemesis system had like a lot of numbers and things to think about in terms of, because
I beat that game and I still am not 100% sure how it works.
Yeah, but like in terms of each of these characters getting specific resistances and immunities and stuff
they
like
added
that.
So much more of that stuff.
So this game has that times fucking 10, where you're just like, this castle grants everybody this, and you're bringing your guys into this battle, and they've got immunities to this, and you can spend points on upgrades. So like there was one guy when I was playing that was like, I'm scared of spiders, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna push this button and send in spiders. So when I got to that guy, he was fucking not having it.
Like some characters are cursed, some of them have been resurrected from your side back onto the other side.
So they're just taking cues from real life now.
Basically.
Totally,
Like every nemesis is part of a tribe, and like each tribe has different buffs associated with it, and then you assign a tribe to each territory.
So when you go start, you walk up to this castle and hit start mission, and then like you could probably spend 45 minutes just reading like, okay, this guy's immune to this, and this guy, and so they build all these layers and all this stuff, but taking the castle is still, there's a point I need to stand in while a meter fills up. And then when the meter is full, I push down on the D-pad and he goes,
oh yeah, sure.
And then that point is taken and I move on to B.
Yeah.
That's a weirdly video gamey thing in the context of this immersive, crazy battlefield.
Right.
it's a minor thing, I guess. But it seemed really neat. It seemed very similar. It was also really hard to, having not played that game for a while, like dipping back into it with a mid skill tree character and like
800 guys running around.
The guy
everywhere.
kind of manning the demo station is like, remember, you can teleport to where your arrow goes. I'm like, what? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. I can teleport up here by shooting an arrow up there and then kill these guys and get health back. And like, it was a lot.
Yeah.
But like the scope of that battle is undeniable. Like it was very large.
Fucking lot going on.
But yeah, it was the same thing that you saw.
Yeah.
And that we have video of up on the site of you seeing that stuff. And then they also had Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
What?
It's the Legos talk to each other about being superheroes.
Okay.
Wait, the Legos
Should they do that?
I don't know.
I feel
jury's still out.
I feel like
Yeah.
Legos can talk. That's fine. That's been settled. But they shouldn't talk about being a superhero to each other because
That's
you're
just wrong.
destroying your secret identity.
Yeah. No, it's very Guardians of the Galaxy focused, at least the stuff that they showed.
Is it funny?
No, I don't think that any of those games have.
Is it original? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like quotes lifted from, because they've gone back and forth. Like some of those games
right.
were
The
just
Lord
like
of the
dialogue,
Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Lord of the
dialogue
Rings was just
lifted
dialogue,
from the
yeah.
movies.
No,
and-
this is all new stuff.
Okay.
And
Is there a tiny little Lego Groot?
Yeah.
Does he dance?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in.
With what's his Star Lord?
Ooga, shaka,
You
ooga,
can
ooga,
hold down.
shaka.
You hold down the button, and if you hold it down long enough, he pulls out a Walkman and puts headphones on, and then it starts playing that song, and he walks around and shoots and dances.
Okay.
That's the game they're making. And I guess like the end of the previous game, like had the Guardians show up and go. Basically, it's like the Back to the Future ending of like, it's your kids, we got to do something. It's like, there's something else we got to do. And so this is
We found the Lego Galaxy. We
yeah.
got to guard it.
Yeah, so this is them guarding the Lego Galaxy or whatever it is, and it's all time travel stuff.
Cool.
It's a
If you're into those games, like they're
Lego game.
They made another one of those.
Okay.
It's that's cool.
When I bought my Xbox 360, it had Lego Star Wars 2 and Kung Fu Panda in it, and I played both those games through completion.
Which one was better? Compare and contrast.
I got stuck on Lego 2 for longer than I'd like to admit. It was the part that
that
really
game has
challenged me.
an uncanny ability of just making me feel stupid.
Yeah.
Those
sometimes.
games are weirdly complicated.
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah.
There's something,
the part that I played, there was a, and you look at it and go, oh, it's glowing.
Right.
But it's so away from the part you're looking at to play. You're like, oh, okay, I do need to jump up and hold on to that thing to break it.
I gotta do
And then it
something
makes
with it,
some
but-
blocks jiggle, and I have to walk up to the jiggly blocks and hold down the button so it builds something else.
God forbid you miss those jiggly blocks.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only Lego game I've played.
They're still that, I think.
I go
think they're
back
probably
and forth
still the
on
same.
those.
Yeah. People love them.
Yeah.
I can't.
They put out a lot of them.
They put
A lot.
Did any of you
they
guys see
certainly-
that Lego Batman movie?
Not yet.
No.
No. I think I'm going to download it tonight.
Did they make a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of spun off from the
From the Lego
movie.
Like,
So
I've
Will
said
and
it-
that's
Because Batman was in it.
Yes,
as
Lego
well.
Batman is in the. Said it before. Lego movie way better than it
Oh,
has
yeah.
any right to be.
Did they put that out in theaters?
Yeah.
Which
they did.
one?
A
Which
Lego
one?
Batman movie.
Yes.
They put that into movie theaters.
Yeah. Not too long ago.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
This year or late last.
Yeah. I don't think you can buy it retail. I think you can buy it digitally.
It's super tongue in cheek.
Right now.
I mean, like.
Oh, I
it's-
bet.
it's-
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's
And
yeah.
Will and That's Batman in Lego movie was pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
So
cool.
I think
Like,
it's
it was-
deserving.
it was
of
pretty
its
funny.
own-
that
Yeah.
Lego movie sounds like it's probably really good.
It's Lord Miller.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Bring back Clone High.
Mm. Yeah. So that's pretty much
everything you can discuss.
Yeah. Everything
Okay.
I can discuss.
You eat any good food in LA?
There were some Sonic the Hedgehog cookies that were
Was that like a
Did
sugar
they go
cookie?
fast?
Damn it.
tasteless.
Was it the head?
No, everyone was
I was
actually
going
afraid
there. I
to
was
eat
waiting for
them.
my
Was
moment.
it in the shape of his head?
Yeah. So everyone took pictures of the cookies and posted them on the internet.
And didn't
Literally every single person walking into that room went, "Oh," and myself included.
Sega got exactly what it wanted.
Yeah.
And then we tried. Austin grabbed one later, and I tried a bite of that, and I was like, "This is the most flavorless cookie I've ever had."
Was it just like a
Perfect.
plain cookie with painted
With
on
like
Sonic?
fondant Sonic on the top of it, yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, that's about right for Sonic the Hedgehog." Yeah. Anyway,
Great. So that's everything.
that's everything for now.
For now.
Yeah, there's some stuff that in the weeks leading up to the show that
Yes.
I think,
Well-
no not too many huge bombshells out of that stuff.
Yeah, we'll reconvene prior to E3 and go over that stuff.
Yeah.
But for now, we need to take our first break. Let's take a break.
This week's show is brought to you in part by Hanes, who sent over the Hanes Fresh IQ Comfort Blend Modal Undershirt. It's comfortable. That's the design of it. It's supposed to be comfortable. It's a cotton blend modal fabric, making it Hanes' softest ever tee. No tags in it that'll itch or annoy. It's designed to keep its shape, won't shrink in the wash. It's got moisture-wicking Fresh IQ technology designed to keep you fresh all day. Whether you're on a long flight or a car ride, the undershirt can keep you feeling fresh, even in the most uncomfortable situations. It's a next-generation undershirt, so head on over to Hanes.com, and you can purchase one of these today. Quantities are limited, so get over to Hanes.com and shop now for the Hanes Fresh IQ Comfort Blend Modal Undershirt.
Jeff, any other games you want to discuss?
Injustice 2.
Oh,
you guys talk about
Injustice.
some of that.
Swamp Man,
Swampo! Swamp King!
Swamp Dog.
old Swampy.
Swampo.
Kid Swamp.
Kid Swamp. That's for if you do his friendship. Kid Swampy comes out. So just, Kid Swampy!
Just only use low kick.
Yeah.
It's Swamp.
We talked a bit about Injustice 2 last week, but Brad didn't want me to talk about it, so we didn't say too much.
What?
Yeah. They're like, you got 1 minute. And I said loot boxes.
That is nonsense.
And stuff, and you were like,
I don't play a game with loot
We
boxes.
talked at length about Injustice.
no.
This conversation is an injustice.
There's a lot in that thing.
Yeah.
There's so much.
A lot of good stuff in that
It's
thing.
like the number of modes and options and stuff like that. It's a refreshing change.
I was gonna say, like, I haven't been spending that much time playing multiplayer. I've found enough stuff to keep me occupied.
That's really refreshing to hear.
Yeah, that's between all the loot boxes and stuff, and having meaningful, like, significant stuff that affects your abilities and the way that you look. Like, I like that stuff.
I'm really curious to see how that game shakes out
Yeah, I know.
over time with the competitive scene and stuff like that. Because now I'm starting to unlock like straight up new moves. And like, hey, you hit level 10, and now this move is more powerful. And you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's a little weird. And I to be honest, I don't know if those abilities are enabled when you go into ranked. Because when you go into ranked, it's just you're straight level 20.
Yeah.
Your gear doesn't matter. Whatever.
It's more that there are more than 2 moves per character, though.
Right.
So like each character will have 2 ability slots, and you'll have cases where one ability takes up both slots because they deem it to be powerful enough to be worth that or whatever. But then, so I mean, there are ways to build your character.
Yep.
Which is like really cool in a single player or kind of loose, light competitive setting. But in a tournament setting and stuff like that, I just wonder. I mean, I imagine at that point they just go no abilities equipped, and you just go with the base characters, and that's that. But that's kind of a shame because some of those moves, like Supergirl has like the Raiden torpedo, but you can only do it in the air.
Wonder Woman has a move where she puts out her shield and just starts walking forward and can reflect all projectiles. It's rad, and I wish I had that as a base move.
Yeah, that stuff's really strange, and like I said, I wonder how that shakes out. I imagine it shakes out in that they just ignore that stuff's in there.
Or they turn it on, and maybe that can be part of, because it had 3 different stances, 3 different characters essentially that you could choose, like in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So I don't see why not.
It'd be really cool. Like, tournaments don't do this enough where they, fighting game tournaments are a niche enough thing where you come to play to win because you want to win.
Right.
Like, you go to the, not Evo. Evo's like a big event where tons of people come from all over. But there's not really room for like custom tournaments, you know, or like a Smash tournament with items on, or a tournament like this where you can have your custom moveset. It'd be cool if NetherRealms like stepped in and had kind of some sort of league or something, where they supported like a tournament scene like this, because it'd be really. I mean,
they did say that they were looking to have like tournaments for everyone, like kind of
championship
like a
league or something.
Yeah, that's something that was like, hey, this is not for pros. This is kind of like these mid-tier
really
characters.
cool as someone
Let's
who
invite
doesn't
Lupe
play.
Fiasco and Shaq,
Right?
Eva Marie or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like NetherRealm has been completely shunned by that community, but is like Capcom centric as the Evo scene is.
You know,
you almost wonder if they just made this explicitly not for people who are in tournaments.
I mean,
like they just stopped catering to that crowd.
The last like year, Capcom fans have really kind of soured on Capcom.
Wonder why.
Which is strange, but you see a lot like in comment sections for fighting game oriented
that's where I get all of my opinions.
That's where you get the really good stuff.
Yeah.
But generally you've seen a tone of like NetherRealms is awesome because they support their games, they have tons of single player content. Like the public opinion on NetherRealms, like in the FGC, has really started to shift favorably, which is why I think there's a big space for them to step in and kind of do a little bit more. They already do a lot, but
they've thrown in pot bonuses and stuff like that for their past couple of games, and they've been there.
Yeah, they've been there, but it'd be really cool. I don't know, because I don't really play the NetherRealms games. And I don't love watching them. I like watching like finals at Evo, and that's pretty much it. But I would totally love to see like a custom tournament, see what kind of combinations players come up
like
with.
Hey, here's I unlocked all the gear and all this other stuff. I mean, I found myself because so I think something's broken with mine. Because every time I open the guilds tab, I get like another 60 loot boxes.
That's a lot of loot boxes.
And
I don't get that many.
At this point, I'm guild leader.
Maybe I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I feel like I'm getting boxes for the same thing every time too, where it says like, "Oh, your guild completed the weekly challenge. Here's a platinum box," and that pops up once a day every time I open up the thing.
Like that stuff I get, but like as far as bronzes are concerned, I get like 10.
I have over 100 bronzes right now that I just don't have time to open.
And that's every time you're going in.
Every time, not every.
Well, I mean,
if I quit and go back in, I don't get another 60. But it seems like once,
often
maybe
you-
twice a day, that guild tab will just dump boxes for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you want to make me guild leader, that's cool.
I don't know if
You
it's a
should be
leader
able to
thing or
redistribute the wealth amongst your guild.
each character has a limit that increases as you level them up. Like you can only hold 50 items. So I'm at a point now where I'm like characters I've never played. I have to go like, oh, I should equip this stuff, or I feel like I'm spending way more time playing dress up than I am fighting.
The way to manage the dress up portion is not that great.
And
like
selling the
UI.
inventory off when you need to clear spaces for those slots is clunky. Like that interface is bad.
Yeah, that's something they totally fix and probably should.
And they need an open all button, which if that's a bug they're going to fix, then maybe it won't be
Just
a problem.
one big rumble.
Yeah, but
controller.
I'm left feeling like that's not me being guild leader. That's like something is fucked up with the game, and it's just doling out way more crates than it's supposed to. Which hey is cool, but also all my characters are pretty low level, so it's not like it's dumping out high level stuff. It's like here's more shit for the characters you never play.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, I have way more poison ivy stuff than I'll ever use because she seems terrible. And
she's not. No,
I don't know. I don't.
You're terrible.
I don't like her moves.
I love her.
Is she friends with Swampy?
Yeah, good friends.
That makes sense.
They're really close.
They're fans of the
She's
green.
a little dominant in the relationship.
Those two.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I know, like plants.
They're trying to protect the plants.
Mother Nature.
Edibles. That game seems. I think it looks great.
You finished the story mode?
Yeah. I finished the story mode actually last week before I left.
Kept you interested all the way through?
Yeah.
That's
I don't like comic book movies or comic book characters. I think superheroes are dumb, but I think their specific spin on. And not that this is the only thing that's ever done. Like, what if Superman was shitty? Like, obviously, but like,
I've seen a lot of people say that they've turned Superman into a really good heel.
Yeah,
he's fucking sucks. Like, straight up, fuck that dude.
That storyline gets real dark. People are dying and shit.
I mean, it opened with that. The first game was like, hey,
Joker's fucking dead.
Yeah,
he just got impaled by Superman.
He's in this game, but not in the story.
Shh. Spoilers.
Yeah. Well, whatever. He died in the first game.
I know.
Characters select screen spoilers.
Yeah. It's a really good fighting game, but I wonder. I'm kind of left still, even after another handful of days of playing it. There's something about the pacing of NetherRealms games and the way that they kind of build their combos and meter burn and all this other stuff that I don't know. Like in 2 years when Mortal Kombat comes out in April, because that's like
if you're going to be ready for more of that,
pretty safe prediction. I feel like I want them to make more dramatic changes to the fighting system and how that stuff goes. Like I think they've nailed it. The way they handle the background interactables and all those stuff. Like that's cool. But I think now that they've done basically 4 games like this. You know, the 2 Injustice games and MK9 and X.
As far as the engine is concerned, this is definitely just like an iteration. It's not a huge ground shaking change or anything like that.
But the fighting runs at the same clip,
Yep.
the same pace as Mortal Kombat does, where it's that kind of staccato, just like we
Pop,
air pop 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 pop.
It's a different
there's a
feeling
mix-up
than
and then
most
you do it
other.
again.
Right, yeah,
Like,
and
I've been playing Street Fighter for years. I can usually jump into a lot of other fighting games and just get the same kind of feel. NRS games, their rule system is just weird and it's different.
it's its own thing.
Yeah, it's
but that's
definitely its
always.
own
I mean,
thing.
you go back to original Mortal Kombat. That was true.
Yep.
You know, just even as simple as like we do back forward, not quarter, not half circle.
Right. Yeah.
Which you can if you want.
If you want, which I think is a neat Injustice thing. But I would never turn it on. It feels fucking wrong.
It feels right.
No, you're just like,
it feels
that's
like
not
a fighting game.
No, that's not how this is supposed to be. I'm supposed to be going down forward, not this quarter circle. I mean, you would do a quarter circle still, but anyway. It's a really well-made fighting game, and I do like it a lot. But that's the thing. I came away from it going like, if Mortal Kombat in 2 years is just kind of like this stuff kind of pushed forward, like the gear system, like whatever they learned here goes forward into that game, but it's still kind of same concepts. And
I don't think I'd be as hyped for it.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe that's unfair because if you think about it, like, Street Fighter's more or less been Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You can count on it. But
Well,
there's
space. I mean, you can count on like, I'm gonna fucking throw out this fucking ducking medium kick and fucking throw a fireball and it's gonna connect, and that's how that game works.
Those games are spaced out in a way that NetherRealm is not. Though.
That's
like,
they're on this every 2 year thing in a
yeah.
really good way. I think that's a good pace for the games. And I think it's largely because of what they did on the PS2 and Xbox, where they threw out everything about those games and rebuilt them from the ground up and made them into fucking weapons fighters and all this. I don't think those games really stood the test of time, other than their single player content was incredible.
Yeah, it was
big
pretty
long story, open worlds, and fucking puzzle combat and kart racers and all the weird shit they did through that whole stretch. Was awesome, and you see the benefits of that kind of thinking, I think, today as well. Even if they're not doing an Injustice kart racer, which they totally should.
check this out. For Mortal Kombat X1, mid-match fatalities.
Yep.
Like they melt your skin away in your skeleton man, but you can still fight as the skeleton man.
Okay, all right. That
And you have, like, new moves.
They did mid-match stage fatalities on PS2 and Xbox, and I realized like they actually just went back to some of that stuff here because they used to have these lights under the life meter in those games that was like, if the red is lit up, it means this. You can counter here. This means you're going to be able to do a stage finisher. This means you're going to be able to do this. Like indicators about where you're standing and what you're doing. Which at the time we're like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then in practice we're really weird because it was like, I don't have time to look up there and see what's what. And then I realized like, oh, now they just do it with like you're in range for a stage interaction.
It starts to glow a little bit.
Like you see the R1 icon just straight up appear. Or like, hey, the stage transition, you're in position to knock them into the next part of the stage. Like they just light that up in a HUD now. Like, oh, wait, they're just back to that. That's kind of neat in a weird way. But yeah, I don't know. Like they've bolted so much onto it. Like I don't know what I would like. I'm not necessarily saying like, oh,
what you would change.
Well, I have no idea what I would change. If I knew what I would change, I would go make fighting.
I think I'm in the same boat. Yeah, because I really like the first Injustice game. This is totally more the same, but I was ready for more. Just like a different roster, and that's totally cool. And I love the loot stuff. That's great.
The loot stuff worked out really well.
Yeah.
I think they turned it off in a lot of cases, and obviously they would have to, but I think it works out better than I expected it would.
Totally.
And I like the roster. Like there's an interesting, like fun to play characters in that game.
You should try that Swamp Dude.
Swamp Dude?
Yeah.
Is he?
Swampo.
Swamp guy?
Yeah,
Swampo.
Swamp guy.
Swampo.
Sorry.
Not really.
Gentleman of the swamp.
He grows wings when he wins sometimes. Is that
Swamp wings?
Is he supposed to do that?
When you're in love with a green like he is, you get some wings every now and again.
I like Harley Quinn a lot.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into Captain Cold, but I'm not good at using Captain Cold.
That dude's dumb.
I just like
Captain.
I just
Cold.
like him.
All right.
I don't know nothing about him other than he's a fucking.
You like
he looks
his
like an
parka?
army dude with an ice gun. He's got a sick parka.
Yeah.
If you had that parka and a pair of jean shorts, he look like he should be selling weed in front of the movie theater.
Hanging out with Swampo and Poison Ivy.
Swamp Dog.
I need to see what this guy looks like.
He's just his whole story is
He's got a
mad
parka
at
and a
Mr.
gun.
Freeze
He's
because he
just
took the name
chill.
Mr. Freeze.
He's just fucking chill.
Oh.
And then Oh, so is he actually Mr. Freeze?
No.
Because one of the alternate costumes for him is, in fact, Mr. Freeze.
He hates Mr. Freeze because he has a better name.
Whoa.
Mr. Freeze is biting his style.
Fuck Mr. Freeze. Captain Cold is where it's at.
Some of the in-game quips, people mention Mr. Freeze and getting him confused for Captain Cold.
All right.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's a really neat game.
Yeah.
I really do like it. But yeah, at the same time, there's this feeling of like, okay, in 2 years, will I want a Mortal Kombat that is iterated off of? Because I look at it as like, I didn't look at this as like, I'm ready for more Injustice. Like, yeah, I was. Mm-hmm. But also, it's the next NetherRealm game. And even though the systems are different with how the buttons work and all that stuff, like the concepts of how those combos work and meter burn and all this other stuff, like that's still kind of like the constant.
I definitely would have preferred, like some of the strings are the exact same, in this game. Yeah. So I wish they would have changed it up at least that much.
Same from the first Injustice or for MK?
From the first game, actually,
okay.
yeah. So and same characters, same strings and...
Yeah. And I guess I feel like that this game and with the way that they handle meter burn and the way that they build their combos, like I feel like I have to care way more about resource management in this game than I do in most other fighting games.
Yeah, especially with this being like a really like zoning focused game. I don't know if you've played much online, but there's a lot of dead shots out there. You can just like fill the screen with bullets. Yeah. And if you're
dead shots interesting. I don't know.
If you're unfamiliar with how to deal with that, it's frustrating. And you might think the game is like broken, but you really got to manage meters.
Sounds like I found my new main.
I will kill you.
I was fighting a dark side that was just like doing the fucking basic fireball equivalent over and over again, and I was Harley Quinn, and I was like, even when I meter burn the roll to get up close, like it's hard to stay up close.
Yep.
And he just fights his way out of it and just keeps doing it. I'm like, man, this is frustrating. Like I want to stop playing this game.
Yep.
So that stuff for sure. Yeah, the resource management is some of the stuff I'm kind of the worst at in games, in fighting games.
If there's too many meters, it's just
to where I just like I build it up and try to do the super. Like I'm not an EX move guy, and the combos in this game are so built around meter burn and all these huge chains, and then of course you can burn to
clashes.
Yeah, the clashes you can burn to get out of stuff. Like you spend a lot of time thinking about your meter in that game, and that's.
Not your style.
It's a very different feel, but it's kind of not my style.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of wish that maybe they would get away from some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's maybe why I don't get as sick of the the super moves, because you don't see them a lot in like competitive play.
Yeah, anyone who knows what they're doing is never going to have a full meter.
They're
using them all the time.
Yep,
to do sick fucking combos.
RC stuff.
Which Mortal Kombat character would look the best with a
Striker?
With new loot?
I don't even. It's just the answer is always Striker.
Striker.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
With sick pauldrons.
Mm-hmm. Sick fucking cop pauldrons.
Yeah, spikes coming out of his backwards hat.
Yeah, big badge pauldrons. A fucking forward-facing baseball cap.
What?
Make a Striker Arcana.
3 guns. He's got 3 guns.
He's got 3 guns. Yeah, so hopefully they'll add Striker to Injustice 2 as DLC at some point. I think he would be a good fit.
That is our guild motto.
That is the guild motto.
We got a sick penguin on our... We keep unlocking new banners and icons and stuff, but I think I've decided on we're going to keep the penguin.
The penguin's good. To me, because I look at that and think about animalities.
Captain Cold?
Right.
No, I think about Scorpion turning into a penguin.
Yep.
And think, well, that's perfect.
We're laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
when they add animalities to Injustice 2, then it'll be a proper fighting game.
We've worked at Boone for the most part. Like the last time I shook his hand, I said in my head, "Swamp Thing," and then weeks later,
he almost got it. Swampo's in the game,
and then he put in Swampy.
Yeah, well, we'll get there eventually, I guess. It's a neat game. I kept coming back to it.
It's refreshing to have a fighter that has such really good like solo content.
Yeah,
for sure.
It goes a long way, as it turns out.
Yeah. Normally, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But
when it's done well, and like equipping all the different stuff on the characters is cool, and it's.
I got sick ass horns on my Swample.
Your swamp person.
Mm-hmm.
You should see a doctor if you get horns on your Swample.
Yeah. If the horns are there for more than 4 hours, you have some kind of issue. Yes. But that's pretty much most of what I've been playing. And I'm fucking dying to get out of this room and go install Trackmania 2 Lagoon.
Yes. Sure that something will happen with that in the near future.
Yeah.
I am confident. Ben.
Hi.
What do you know about ARMS?
I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so do you.
Oh.
And you could have 2 more this weekend.
Oh.
Actually, you could have like 3,002 more.
It's a double arms weekend.
Brothers, you can have mine.
Nice.
My arms.
Nice. I played ARMS.
Yeah.
A little while ago from Nintendo, the video game ARMS.
Yes, the Nintendo Switch.
They call it ARMS because you fight with your arms in it, unlike other fighting games where you fight with your arms and legs.
Like that scene in Beetlejuice where his arms get crazy long and then turn into hammers.
Exactly
like
that.
That's basically that.
ARMS is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really into it conceptually. I mean, I'll have to spend a lot more time with it and see kind of how many people play it and what they do with it in a quote-unquote competitive sense.
The longevity of ARMS, is that something you might be concerned about?
Yeah.
We should say you went to an event. Like
yes.
You spent some actual time.
So I went to a Nintendo event. They had ARMS there. They had the 3 new characters, which they debuted last week, I believe. There's a cop. And he's got a robot dog. Their name are Bark and Bite.
Okay.
And like bite like a like a computer.
Yeah.
And bark like a dog. And the dog just shoots out every once in a while. He just like follows the cop around and shoots an arm out.
It's a dog with an arm?
He I forget how he does it, but I think he shoots it out of his mouth.
He has an arm in his mouth?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That dog's
and
into
it's just
some
a head.
shit.
It's just a big robotic dog head that floats around and follows you. And the cop looks like a constable. He's got a metal mustache.
Nice.
He's actually really cool design.
A fucking floating dog head. That would be cool if I could just turn around and be like this. Just a giant, just like in my head, it's a Doberman. Is it a Doberman? What's the dog head look like?
I'm
thinking bulldog.
It's a little bulldog.
Okay.
Hearing that he's constable makes the bulldog.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
So I mean, that game has really cool style. You can tell this is sort of like that new school Nintendo vibe with Splatoon and Mario Kart 8. It's kind of like a little more flashy, a little more cartoony,
very vibrant.
Yeah. So they had all 10 characters playable. They showed off a couple new modes. We played some 1v1, but then there is a target attack versus mode where you're on opposite sides of a court and there's targets flying back and forth, and you're competing to hit the targets, but if you hit the other person, you'll knock them out, so they can't hit the targets.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then there is a basketball mode called Hoops. And Hoops works where if you get a grab on your opponent, you automatically slam dunk them into a basketball hoop and get 2 points.
That seems like a fun, dumb, kind of awesome thing.
Yeah. I played it. I played 6 rounds of it, and I was like, okay, I would probably play 6 rounds of this and then not play it for a week and then come back and play it a little more. But definitely, the main thing they were showing off was just 1v1.
Yeah.
If you don't know how it works, basically, you got 2 dudes and you punch with the move controller and your arm will fly out, and then you also have to kind of steer your arm as you're mid punch. So
a little massé, some English on it.
Yeah, put a little English on it.
It's really tricky sometimes because I had to fight my. I don't know if this is a common thing for fighting games, but if I feel like I'm about to connect a move, I really lean into it.
Right.
Like if I'm gonna nail a super, I kind of. But if you move both your controllers forward, you throw out a throw.
Yeah.
And so I found myself messing up my controls somewhat frequently. We only played with motion controls there. There is an option.
I was gonna say, it does have regular controllers. I was wondering if they showed that. But
I would like to check that out at some point, obviously. So they're doing like a test launch like they did with Splatoon this weekend and the following weekend.
But I think it's the whole weekend, right? As opposed to Splatoon was like an hour at a time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
And
they can do that because it's a one-on-one game, whereas they wanted to focus if this is a team game, we need enough players playing
like
server stress testing
servers,
to make it go. So I like that they called it a test punch.
Yes,
to go with the Splatoon test fire. That's a good dumb thing that they should stick to forever.
Shouldn't
to make it more and more ridiculous as time goes on.
Shouldn't Splatoon be like a test splat or something?
Maybe.
Test splat sounds gross.
Yeah.
But probably the coolest thing about it that gives it a lot of depth is, so each character has 2 arms and 3 different types of arms they can equip. But
what are the arm types? Solar, Arc, and Void, right?
Right, and Void does double damage to you and them. They're different for each character, but you can also unlock any character's arms for any other character. So you have your base character who has different levels of HP, different damage, different move speeds.
And they've got a rocket arm and a sticky arm, the boomerang arm.
So they said there's something like 3,000 total combinations of arms, of characters and arms you can have.
So it's not just you equipping the mummy arms. You can have one mummy arm.
Or you can have one cop arm and one twin tail arm.
Okay.
And all the arms.
Does it matter which, if you want it on your right or your left?
I don't think that matters. Okay. I think it's just which ones you have. And they're very different. Like some of them are just, punches. Some of them are punches that kind of spread out like a shotgun. Some of them are projectiles that just kind of float out there and don't go again.
I think there is a boomerang that like goes around and comes back.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
There's like a shield that you can put out and it just kind of stays in place, and then you can move around and it won't move again until you punch a second time. So there's real depth, I think, to counter. And it made me think about like what is
like super well though. Like if somebody's just coming into this, that sounds like a staggering amount of arm combinations.
So you have to unlock other characters' arms for the characters, and you unlock them with in-game currency that you get from just playing. So if you have an arm that you're really eyeing, you can go download that one.
Wait, it has eyes?
Unlock that one. Some of the arms have eyes, I think.
That seems insane.
So yeah, and I was like wondering how would this work in a competitive scene, because you can counterpick characters and then you can counterpick arms when you see the other person's character. I don't know. I think the core gameplay is neat. I think it is engaging. I had fun. I can't wait to try it without motion controls. But just from like a technical how you play this with other people point of view, it seems like there might be some challenges.
Yeah, I was just watching some footage while you're talking about it to remind myself like what the match flow looks like, and it looks like online it would be fine because you've got your own screen. But the way the camera's moving around and stuff, it seems like two people on the same console might.
Is that
split screen?
Split screen.
It just goes split.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we played it back at their like pre-launch event, they just had split screen stuff set up, and it seemed fine. It reminded me of like Virtual On, or Robo Pit, and stuff like that. Of just like here's these behind the back kind of camera angles, and you just kind of go.
I'm into it. And we talked a little bit about some of the like fighting game terminology that was being thrown around.
Yeah, he was talking about blowing up throws, and just like I was talking with JC from Nintendo, and he is like one of the managers of that game, and he was like we were just chatting about Evo and stuff, and it seems like he is very passionate about fighting games and like talking about
like
hit
fighter
confirms and stuff like that.
Okay.
I guess, aside from Smash, which is kind of its own thing, like Nintendo hasn't really waded into that territory, right?
Pokken.
Pokken. Okay.
Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
There you go.
That wasn't really Nintendo.
No,
it was just on the Wii.
But it was on the Wii.
Only on the Wii.
Yeah, no, this is like Nintendo's real. No, Pokken was at Evo last year.
Yeah, I think
it failed the fan vote this year.
It came in second behind Marvel. And then they also showed off Splatoon 2 single player stuff at the end, and that looks really cool. It looks like, I liked the first Splatoon single player. It was a little short, a little repetitive in some areas.
But like a good, like you look at it and go like, man, this could be something really
it was
great
like a
on
really
its own.
fun 4 hours or something. But they showed off a lot of different just level design stuff and bosses and enemies, and so it looks pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You play anything else?
I beat Persona.
Nice. You're free.
Yeah.
You made it.
The most fucked up thing, I beat that game and I was like, what if I just started playing New Game Plus right now?
Oh no.
What if I just dove right back in?
I forget what day it was last week that you were like, at the end of the day, you were just like, I'm going home and I'm going to finish Persona tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and play that game until I finish it.
It turns out there was a little more than I thought, but I definitely stayed up till like 2:30 to beat it. I have a lot of thoughts about the end of that game, which I won't get into here, obviously. I would like to at some point, but I really like what they were going for in their last act, kind of when you the true theme of everything is revealed. I really like what they were going for. I don't think they nailed the execution fully, but still a really solid game overall.
How do you rank it next to 4?
I think technically and like design wise better.
Okay.
Maybe story is a little worse and character are a little worse. Okay. I wasn't as into the main or side characters.
What about combat? Which did you prefer?
I preferred 5. There was just so much variation. So the cool thing that 5 does is all your confidants, all your social links have different, well, not all of them, but many of them have different like battle changes. So you befriend this little kid who's really good at like light gun games. And because of that, sometimes when you ambush an enemy, you just drop in and get to just jam on the X button and shoot them a bunch and do a bunch of damage, or just
cool.
A lot of variations there. That 4 definitely got really repetitive towards the end, but this one
4 is a blueprint, you know.
Yeah.
4 is like, this enemy's weak to this. We're gonna cast this, and then I'll jump in, and then we're done. Yeah.
But like you learn like with this confidant, you can get a guaranteed knockdown on an enemy, which lets you do the follow-up attacks. Or like this guy, and then there's demon negotiations, which is a whole thing. And sometimes the demons take your party hostage, and you have to negotiate them back. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff in there that kind of kept it unique enough, but by the end I was just blowing through enemies anyway. So
that's cool that's in there. That was one of the Shin Megami Tensei thing, or just even like Persona 1. I don't remember if 2 had it or not, but like the talk to enemy thing, I always thought was like a really cool, weird thing of just like, hey, we're gonna solve this weird conflict another way.
Once you realize how so the game doesn't explicitly tell you how it works, you can look in the tutorials in the game, but like different enemy types, there's like gloomy, angry, whatever, and they want to hear different types of responses. Once you realize that, it makes it really actually kind of interesting, sometimes a little frustrating, because you're like, I definitely chose the angry response, but there were 2 responses that could kind of be angry. But yeah, no, it was a solid game.
Yeah.
I don't think it was as disappointing as some people, but
some people who shall remain nameless.
I don't think it's, you know, amazing. I think it came close. I think it came close in a lot of ways. If it had a more interesting cast of characters, both in the party and out of the party, and if it just kind of nailed that meta plot thing at the end there, I think it would have been like something I would have replayed one day. Because there is some new game stuff. Plus, I want to check out. I've been reading. It's kind of spoilery.
Because like, you keep all your like confidant levels, right? So you can kind of keep
and you keep your like your charm and guts
and so you can just kind of do everything.
Yeah.
You don't regret the 100+ hours.
No, I think I clocked it. I left it idling a couple times, but my final count was 117 hours.
Wow, that's pretty stiff. It's a lot of game.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys have any other games you're burning to talk about before we move on to news? You got anything else besides Injustice?
Just Injustice, but mostly actually Dead Cells. Like that game continues to impress. We talked about it last week, but I wasn't very far, and now I've got like probably 15 more hours into it over the weekend.
I put about 2 or 3 into it over the weekend. I was like,
that was enough to grab me, and now it's like solidly, and it's a fucking early access too. And
have they said when it's coming out?
I haven't seen,
because it looks pretty awesome, but I figure if they're close, I might as well just wait.
Yeah, they said they were like 80% there or something.
Could be, but yeah, I'm still finding new weapon types. Before it was just like daggers and swords and stuff, and now I've got like a fucking Castlevania style whip.
The whip is really good.
It can be.
Wait, is that different from? The,
I think I got like an electricity.
Yeah, like that electricity.
That's
whip.
different.
Like, automatically hits secrets too.
That's great. Yeah, because some of them will automatically target enemies, but this main whip is you have to hit at the very tip of the whip, and that'll cause like a critical thing. If they hit inside of the zone, it doesn't do nearly as much damage. But yeah, it's very different than the sword type.
Yeah.
So every run, like I'm finding just new favorite weapons. It seems like after a while, you get in kind of a groove. I talked about like the meat grinders that you could like throw on the floor and stuff. There's other weapons like that, like turrets and shit like that. I'm finding myself using and like really relying on that stuff more than I probably should, and not using the regular melee weapons. Like I can jump up to, a ledge, throw a couple of those meat grinders or turrets, and just let them take care of enemies, and just, stay in safety below. I feel kind of bad about that. I just, that breaks up the combat a little bit. But still, overall, dude, that game is really fucking good.
Everything seems solid.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Cool. Excellent. Actually, why don't we take one more quick break before we get into the news here? We'll be right back.
It's time to make the smarter choice when it comes to shaving.
Go on.
You can get a great shave at a great price.
How do you define great?
It's better than good.
Okay.
It's like if good was like a 7, great is like an 8.
Huh. Okay.
It's at least one better than good.
Yeah. So no visible stubble.
Hey, how you define that?
Close shave?
A close shave.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a no-brainer choice. You can get the Dollar Shave Club Executive Razor and Dr. Carver's Shave Butter. When you get those two things and you join them together, you know what you get?
What do I get?
A smooth shave.
Nice. An executive razor. Am I going to look like a CEO?
You're going to look like you just stepped out of the world of business.
Yeah.
Onto the streets. That's right.
Streets are where the real business happens.
Exactly. The proper, true executive business happens ground level, not up in these ivory towers.
Yep.
And Dr. Carver's shave butter is transparent for a more precise shave.
You know who's from the streets?
Who?
Dr. Carver.
Dr. Carver?
Yep.
If you say so.
Yep.
I don't want to. I don't want to speculate.
His
about
legend is known far and wide.
the legend or legacy of Dr. Carver. But that clear, transparent shave butter is there to prevent ingrown hairs and fight razor bumps. How about that? Yeah. Make that smarter choice. Join the Dollar Shave Club today. Here's the deal. New members can get their first month of the executive razor and a tube of Dr. Carver's shave butter for $5 with free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month. That's $15 in value for only $5.
Wow.
How about that?
That's good.
Yeah. In your first month box, you'll get a weighty handle. So a handle to attach the razors to, which is important.
Yeah. You don't want to handle a razor directly.
No,
Take it from me.
Don't just grab the razor and just rub it on your face like some guy. They'll give you the handle. Yeah. It comes in the box.
Take it from my lacerated hands.
Oh, man. Tape those things up. This is a nightmare. You get a full set of 4 cartridges and a tube of shave butter. And then after your first month, the replacement cartridges ship automatically at their regular price. How about that?
That sounds pretty good.
All right. No hidden fees, no commitments. Cancel anytime you like. You can get this offer by going to dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast. That's dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast.
That deal cuts close.
You got it.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a choice for the news this week.
Okay.
You want the good news or the bad news first?
Bad news.
The key is to mix both of them together.
Oh, yeah?
Just
They
alternate.
just kind of cancel each other out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they just sort of
No news.
blend into this neutral sort of...
Null news.
Well, no news is good news, so I think no news is
Oh,
technically
shit.
like bent in that direction
I'll take it.
also. So
That sounds good to me. Let's get the bad news out of the way.
let's hear it.
IO Interactive has laid a bunch of people off.
Yeah.
What?
They announced this morning.
That makes sense.
If
I
you remember,
guess.
yeah, if you remember last week, the awful betrayal that they suffered at the hands of their publisher / owner. Who knows? I mean, whatever. Who knows what the business mechanics were behind the decision? But Square Enix announced last week that they, IO is on the chopping block, or they're trying to get rid of them.
Auction block.
Auction block, I guess, is the for whatever reason they are trying to divest themselves of the Hitman business.
I don't blame him. He's a criminal.
That's true.
He's a liability.
This guy is a real liability. He's just an albatross hanging around their necks.
He just got spotted one too many times.
Yeah, I guess so.
Someone
Brad.
Someone just walked him into too many areas.
Yep.
Go like, wait, is this trespassing?
Yep.
And
You
the rest is history.
Totally just turn around and walk away. There was some hope after.
I mean, we know that now.
Yes. There's obviously
That's not going to bring him back.
some hope last week that maybe IO would be sold intact along with the Hitman IP, and maybe they could keep doing it somewhere else. But
Yeah, what's the status of that?
Well, we don't know. I mean,
it's very soon to speculate about that stuff.
Sure.
Like just a week after they said this was even happening. But they just posted a message on Twitter that says, we had to make some changes to our studio, which will allow us to be better equipped for our future adventures. We're sad that great talent and good friends will be leaving the studio. We are doing everything possible to look after everyone affected.
yeah, it's hard without knowing. Well, I mean, without knowing who those people were and what their roles were at the studio. A lot of those could have been support staff that a new publisher buying them might already have that in place.
Maybe. Possible. Of course, you would think Square Enix would have a lot of that type of stuff also.
I wouldn't
There's no way to
assume
know.
anything about what Square Enix has or doesn't have,
Yeah, I guess so.
honestly.
The
Their interests are spread so worldwide and in such a different, weird way.
I mean, probably the big wild card here is the unconventional release schedule for that game, and especially the follow-up content, like the Elusive Targets and other live stuff that they've been pushing out for that game. Like, who knows how many people were involved purely in just keeping that stuff going.
Right. So some of this could be natural in the context of the content is out,
Right.
so
Yeah.
there's going to be less need for people.
Yeah.
It probably makes sense for them to be lean as they make this transition.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of rumors going around saying that definitely Hitman is intact and still on for next year.
Wait, like season 2?
Yeah, that
Next year?
season 2 would be a 2018 thing.
Man.
Like
until then.
Are you implying that was the plan even before all this turmoil came about?
No, but
Okay.
that is still the plan going forward.
Okay.
But those are all rumors, so I don't know what to make of it.
Agent 47's going to a farm somewhere. He's going to have lots and plenty of people to murder.
Run free.
A lot of room to run and play.
Yeah.
And kill.
He's gonna murder your dog that we sent there 10 years ago. Yeah, and I think attached to that rumor was maybe some speculation that this sale might already be close to happening.
Oh.
That maybe that this wasn't them signaling, hey, we intend to do this someday, and we would like to start the process.
Yeah,
it was
we
more
are-
like, we're in the middle of doing this.
We're about to do this.
But I don't know.
Well, at that point, though, why don't you just wait until the sale happens? Like, so you can just say, hey, here's where they're going.
I have no idea. I'd have to look at the timing. Or like, did they have financials to report, and this is when they did it, or
maybe.
there was a time to that stuff? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does Square report financials?
I don't
Actually know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Not counting on a Hitman Season 2 at E3 at this point.
Yeah.
Probably. Safe bet. That sucks. All right. Here's some good news. I think this is good news. I don't know. Maybe. It looks like that Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is real
Yes.
that we talked about
Yeah.
like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because a piece of art leaked out, and sure enough, Mario has a gun.
That's the part that's that's fucked up.
Also, here's like Luigi. I mean, not Luigi. I'm sorry, Yoshi.
Same thing. Fuck those guys.
Wait,
Luigi has.
whoa.
I was gonna say, well, Luigi appears to have some sort of revolver-looking thing, but Yoshi is straight up wielding like a shoulder-mounted like laser bazooka.
That's the stuff where I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes, I am pro Rabbids and Mario hanging out. That is
Yeah.
fine. I'm even pro a Rabbid dressing up like Peach, taking a selfie.
This rabbit dressed up like Peach is
She's taking a selfie and shooting
My
a gun at the
everything
same time.
is so crazy looking.
But Mario can't have a gun.
Mario is a
Mario
gun.
is a gun. He
Mario
doesn't need a
shoots
gun.
fucking shit out of himself already.
I mean, the gun looks like a thing he just sort of inserted his hand into. So maybe
It looks like a
he's
Mega
still
Buster.
shooting.
Yeah,
It looks like a bullet bill Mega Buster.
His maybe he is still the gun. His
Yeah,
arm is just
totally.
inside the thing.
But what about
the enclosure?
what about Luigi? Luigi shouldn't get a gun. Give Luigi a vacuum.
Do not give Luigi a gun.
Do not give
not give
Luigi a
Luigi
gun.
This image leaked, so it's kind of low res. It's kind of hard to see exactly what Luigi is holding.
If it's not a vacuum cleaner, then
Peach
it's
even
bullshit.
Peach even has a gun.
I think Peach deserves a gun at this point. Like
a badge
for
and a
protection.
gun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Mace wasn't
She's a
doing
ranking
anything.
officer of the kingdom. Like, absolutely.
She needs to be able to defend herself.
Mario
from
clearly
Bowser.
can't fucking protect her, so
Right.
give her a goddamn gun.
It's about time Peach had a gun.
This thing looks so weird. I just can't stop staring at that Peach imposter rabbit.
Yeah, but
So-
if this thing's going to turn out to be an RPG, right?
Yeah,
It's like a Mario
yeah,
and
they
Luigi
made it-
RPG,
they made it
but
sound
with
like
Rabbids,
that.
right?
Yes.
That's
Somebody pointed out that this has been under our noses for years because the Rabbids' main tool that they use is a plunger.
That's true.
where'd they get that plunger? Where'd that plunger come
This
from?
game is
Finally-
a prequel to the Rabbids series. They
It's
were
the Rabbids
originally
origin story.
they were originally in the Mushroom Kingdom, but obviously at the end of this game, there's going to be an exodus for some reason. Maybe Bowser puts a war.
Now,
like,
the game
eats them.
you know as Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan was called Yumikojo Doki Doki Panic. It's a whole separate thing. But that game was the one that came over here as Super Mario Brothers 2. And that game, you pick up all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of history for carrying things, doing things. What if they were guns? What if they were guns?
What if they were
So what I'm
guns?
saying is that Doki Doki Panic is actually Rabbids 0.
Okay.
You don't see the Rabbids. The Ninjas, though, they are Rabbids in ninja
So
costumes.
this game is Rabbids 1. So this takes place after Doki Doki Panic.
Exactly. It's a direct sequel to
Is
that
it a
game.
dream?
Wart? No, this is after they wake up and they're
Okay.
like, "What? That wart shit's crazy." But what if we picked up turnips? That's an idea I had while I was sleeping that we could probably put to real use. What if I carried a
You know
fucking
what?
turnip?
Nobody ever talks about that. That game took place entirely in Mario's dream, but Birdo and Shy
Yeah,
Guys
man.
and stuff are all canon now.
It's all possible that those are just people he met years ago and had a dream about it that then showed up later. I mean, I have dreams about people all the time that are real, doing
Yeah.
very unreal things.
like picking up turnips
Yeah.
and guns.
Who would pick up a turnip?
And hold it over their head. Like,
Yeah.
run around like that.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
Anyway, that image is all that came out on that today, but man, it looks nuts.
I'm all for that. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
sure. Why not?
Rabbids are good.
This is a Rabbid safe
Yeah,
zone.
Yeah.
I think, I'm still okay with some Rabbids. Sure.
I think that some of the last few Rabbids games were less interesting, and they kind of burned out the Rabbids. So this I think, though, is a good twist on it to fucking bring it all back around.
Yep.
Do we know who's making this game?
Ubisoft was said to be doing the heavy lifting on the development. I don't
Have
know.
they made an RPG like this?
South Park.
Yeah, well, Obsidian made that first one.
Well, they're making the other South Park game here,
They
right?
made Child of Light.
Was
an RPG.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Far Cry 5 got announced.
Yeah.
With a live action trailer.
Okay.
It's got guns.
Like the Montana stuff seems to be real.
Yeah, well, someone wrote into the podcast months ago talking about
Yes, that person who wrote in months ago seems to have more or less been on point.
Yeah.
And according to someone on our boards, don't talk about huckleberries.
What?
I guess everyone's cliche about Montana, which I didn't know, is that they love huckleberries.
I don't even know what a huckleberry is.
It's like a huge tourist trap. Is like they have huckleberry stuff everywhere, but no one who lives there actually eats them or enjoys them.
I see.
So if you're seen eating huckleberries, then you're ripe to be indoctrinated into some kind of militia and or cult?
Yes.
Yeah, that seems to be the. Yeah, I mean,
that's how they get you.
There's only like 3 shots in that trailer, and it's like I said, it's all live action stuff. But the shot of the church, the old timey looking church on the plains, the guy ringing a church bell with a dude's head.
I didn't watch the video.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
You should watch that trailer. It's a pretty strong trailer. Some like
Does he do it 12 times because it's high noon?
Something like that. I don't know. There's some very evocative iconography on that church.
Okay. I think bringing Far Cry to America is a potentially a very bold move that I think could lead to a very interesting game.
Totally. I was not the slightest bit interested in a new Far Cry until I saw this stuff.
Like
and
post 4 and Primal, you're like, all right, they've worn this thin. They have to make dramatic changes to really get this back. But that's a fascinating setting that I think opens up some real strong ideas.
Yeah.
Present day, right?
From the looks of it.
Okay.
So yeah, like the guy that wrote into us made it sound like it was a present day game a few months ago, but then like in the last month there was this huge uproar about like, oh, it's a Wild West game in Montana, but it very much looks modern day.
It's probably going to be one of those games that like it doesn't ever really tell you exactly when it's set and keeps kind of.
I mean, if it's going in the direction it might be going, like it seems very modern day.
I think it
seems very topical. Actually,
I think if you were going to put a Far Cry game in Montana, it's like that's the thing that makes it a Far Cry game.
Right.
That's the fucked up shit that you hang your game on, right? Yeah. Is more modern day stuff. So
but, we'll have to wait and see the actual game or hear more about what the pitch is there before we can get into that. But that trailer, go watch that trailer. It's a pretty good trailer.
All right.
10,000 people murdered in Montana today.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Skinned to make a wallet. Seems normal, I guess. Another day in Butte.
Past the huckleberries.
Raise your hand if you're surprised that Red Dead Redemption 2 is not coming out this year.
I'm kind of I'm halfway on that one, honestly.
Really?
Like where I feel like that they
everything.
They do, but like at some point you go like, oh well, they know better.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe they just don't care.
They just haven't put anything
or they've
else
gotten better at
substantial about that game out. Like there hasn't been any real gameplay trailers.
Not really. I mean, they put out that trailer, but there was, it was just.
I would have thought that this maybe would have surfaced at an E3 press conference. That they would have been like, "Hey, we're Rockstar's here to show this trailer,
and it's under your. You can buy Red Dead Redemption. It's under your horse now.
I don't know if there's
under your horse.
I wondered why we were all sitting on horses. I don't know. It seems like a weird move, but
I don't know if you can like really positively spin a delay at a press conference though.
Exactly. In the wake of the delay, then I think it doesn't show up. But I think when it was announced as a thing coming out this year, I was they're running out of time to show it.
Totally.
So.
You assumed this would be one of the big things at the show right up until this announcement. They did put out a batch of new screenshots with this. It still looks pretty damn good.
Spring
2018.
Have they talked about the plot of that game? Are you Marston's son?
No, they haven't said anything.
It's a follow-up to a game called Doki Doki Panic, which came out in Japan.
John Marston was dreaming.
You might know it as Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh.
So Marston was a turnip farmer.
So, yeah. And one day he carried those turnips over his head, and people were like, "Don't do that."
He picked up a key, and
you're gonna make the Frog King come.
Yeah, they're saying spring 2018 right now, but I went and looked, and like GTA 5 got delayed 3 times or something. So
I guess so.
Very possible we'll get close to the end of this year, and
they
they'll be like, "Hey, now it's next fall."
They added a character each time. They're like, they started with one, and then they're like, "Let's delay and add a second guy." let's delay it again.
I wonder if they will make that multi-character setup like a core pillar of their stuff.
That'd be cool.
Or if Red Dead would have that.
Yeah, or if that was just a one-off for
You
GTA
had like
5.
a couple different types, because there's so many different types of cowboys. You know, there's like the lone cowpoke guy. There's like a sheriff. I mean, there's a lot of different
kind of the card-playing hustler type.
It's three brothers. One's a bank robber, one's a sheriff, and one's a cowpoke.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something they lean on game to game now, or if that was just a thing they wanted to do for 5.
I enjoyed that in 5.
Yeah, it was a neat twist.
It was a good way to tell that story, but I don't know that. I feel like if they did that exact thing again, it maybe would seem a little contrived.
Yeah,
it seemed more like a system than more like a natural way to tell the story they want to tell.
John Marston's cousin, his nephew-in-law, and his dog doctor.
Okay, it's a dog who's a doctor.
Dr. John Marston, Dog John Sr.
Wait, is the dog doctor a doctor that works on dogs or a doctor that is
Both.
a dog? Okay, he's a dog who works on other dogs.
His dog wife died, and he was so overcome with grief that he had to teach himself dog science and dog medicine to be able to treat other dogs for the diseases that humans can't see. It's because their eyes don't detect the same
And does he
frequencies.
play Puyo Puyo or Tetris?
Both.
What?
Yes!
Shit. Rockstar thought of everything.
Yeah, coming next year. A couple more quick news hits. They're making a Witcher series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Based on the books, right?
Yeah, that's what I got from the announcement.
People like those books. Might show be good.
They've mentioned the books numerous times.
Might show be good.
Might show be
That's
good.
The fucking pull quote to put on. Might show be good, says.
Guys, this podcast has been going for 4.5 hours. Give me a break.
Yep. Half of your life in this room.
We actually record it way slower than it comes out the other end. So we record it kind of like a screwed and chopped and then speed it up to come out the other end.
Yep. I didn't see any mention of Geralt or video games in this announcement. It seemed to be all about the books.
Yeah, I wonder.
Or are the books not about?
Yeah,
Geralt?
they're
I think
totally
most
about
of
Geralt.
most, if not all of them, are. I
Okay,
think,
all right.
But
I know nothing of the fiction of this universe.
They could
other
totally
than,
just put something in that universe. Yeah, because it's big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
I hope there's Gwent in it.
Have Geralt.
the whole episode. I got to build my Gwent deck.
Man.
That game's like officially out.
It's a bottle episode.
This week, I think.
Is it out, or is it like open beta?
I think it's out this week. Maybe
or
not.
That's kind of
I was
thing at this
watching
point?
somebody talk about coming up with tutorials for the launch of it.
Yeah, they're definitely getting close, but yeah. I guess when they start taking money for it is the deciding factor. You think we'll see any Cyberpunk at E3?
God,
I hope so.
I don't know. I bet they're not far off.
I played a bunch of Netrunner this weekend, which I haven't done in a while. It got me really jonesing for a good Cyberpunk game. Actually, I did play a little bit of a Cyberpunk game because a guy at GameStop tricked me into buying Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Oh boy.
Like, how does that trick work? Because it's like, here you go.
So I want to be able to pull anything over on you.
It's like, here you go. It's Final Fantasy 11, just like you asked.
He tricked me. I got tricked. I walked into the GameStop and there was the big wall of PS4 games. I was like, okay, I want a game. I don't know what I want. I got a PS4 kind of late into it. And I'm gonna just pick something out. And the guy walked over and he's like, hey, what are you in the mood for? What do you want to buy? I was like, I don't know. He's like, what do you like? I'm like, I like everything. I like a little bit of, I'm like, I don't want a sports game. I don't want this. I wanted to see what the GameStop honest recommendation was. And he says,
I got it.
Your video game sommelier.
Yeah. I was like, I want something used and cheap. Like, I want something I can just kind of blow through. And he's like, well, this was actually one of my favorite games the year it came out. And he pointed at the Deus Ex 2. And I was like, yeah, actually, I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'll grab it. And so I grab it. I get in line. I get towards the front of the line, and I look over, and he's talking to someone else, and I hear him say, this is actually one of my favorite games that came out this year. Pointing at something else. I think it was like Skyrim Collection or something. And I was like, motherfucker says that exact line to everyone, and it worked. It worked on me, an industry professional.
Guy's just trying to get his numbers up.
Yeah, and he totally did.
And he just traded in and didn't want to put it on the shelf.
But then you bought it anyway.
I bought it anyway. I started playing. It's pretty good.
Wait, which one?
The newest one.
Oh, okay.
That game's all right.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah. But I want a really like cyberpunk-y. That game's kind of cyber. It's like very cyber, less punk.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's Cyber Cop.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about playing through the Shadowrun on Super Nintendo. Yeah, I got that itch.
Witcher 3 came out 2 years ago. Maybe they might have something. They started showing Witcher 3 like way before it came out.
It did.
Like 3 years before it came out or something.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll have something.
I've been listening to that Bullets song on repeat that they had in the first cyberpunk trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song's real good.
It's just fiending.
Yep.
For it.
Been listening to it ever since.
Also, they're putting out Dragon's Dogma again on PS4 and Xbox
I
One.
swear to God, I'm going to play it this time.
This will be
gonna
the
play it.
time.
I'll play it.
When you crawl all over those monsters in a really creepy, weird-looking way.
Just shuffle around.
It's disgusting.
It's
Human
darker.
centipede of video games.
Dark Arisen, right?
Dark- it's Dark Arisen.
Download a Paul Blart-looking pawn and have him follow me around and carry my heavy objects.
Finally.
Was Dark Arisen the PC re-release?
Yeah.
Is that where that name came from?
That came on consoles as well. That was like
Dark
the,
Arisen?
Did it?
It was like
But
an updated.
PS3 stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like last gen. Is that right? Yeah, I think so.
I think that's how it went.
I have it on PC.
I feel like that thing has gotten just enough like cult
Yeah.
buzz
Yeah.
since it came out that I'm like, all right, maybe I'll give it a shot this time. Like people keep
I played
talking
that
about
prior
it.
to release and was really creeped out by all this. I mean, that's why I keep talking about the crawling thing because it was the first thing I saw of that game. I was like, ugh.
Especially when you're on a smaller thing and you're going around the corners of it.
Right.
You're
It's
just
like,
kind of
ugh, this just looks gross. I don't know, something really unsettling about it. But yeah, that game always seemed kind of neat in its own weird way.
Yeah.
Not my thing, but
I'll give that a look. All right, that's it for news. You guys want to read some emails?
yes.
Let's read some
I love-
emails.
email is the
I
best
love
form of
getting
communication.
emails.
It's the most modern. Nothing's replaced it.
I don't get emails.
No?
I mean, like automated emails, but I don't
Yeah.
get emails written by friends and family. So this fills that gap in my life,
Yeah.
even
Glad-
if they're not to me.
Glad to do. Some of them are to you.
Oh,
To this day, some of them are addressed directly to you. Let's see here. Trying to find a fun email first.
You missed the
Oh.
most important news story.
Lots of business emails.
Oh.
The Trackmania 2 Lagoon is out now.
All right, good to know.
It is now available for sale.
Good to know.
I bought it during the last break.
there was also the Overwatch.
Oh, nice.
Overwatch. came
Wait,
out.
is that not just part of Trackmania 2?
They sell the environments separately.
Okay. But it all bolts onto the same launcher.
Mania Planet is a
Mania
larger discussion than you
Okay.
want to get into
Yeah,
right now.
You're right. You're definitely right. Daniel writes in.
And that Overwatch stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to talk about Overwatch.
Yeah, I forgot about it, so don't worry. I mean, really quick, they just announced it's the year anniversary of Overwatch today? Question mark?
Yes. You're right.
And so they announced, a bunch of new skins. They're giving everyone a dance. Soldier 76 does like a very dad dance. Mercy does the hustle. May does like an anime dance.
Is it
Reaper kinda
weird that
taps
they
his leg.
would kind of lean into? Do
Some
you
of the
feel that
memes out
that's
there,
yeah? Does it feel like that's leaning into like the community representation of Soldier?
They have very
as very
much
dad-like?
embraced the memes.
Okay.
Like, they're running with like the Tumblrization of their characters, the like fan art, the
Yeah.
headcanons and stuff. They've
Oh, so they all have headcannons. So it's like, is there a separate button that shoots those?
yeah,
Or, okay.
yeah, you press R2
Okay, awesome.
on your keypad. And they announced the Game of the Year edition, which
Okay.
like has all the skins and stuff. You can buy that.
So is this update is just cosmetic stuff? No mode to go
the
on
3
with
new
it?
maps.
Okay.
Which
That's cool.
is cool because they were rolling those out pretty slowly, like one at a time.
Are the maps still free? Continue to be free?
I
What's the
believe
deal?
so. I
Okay.
believe everything is still free except
Just
cosmetics.
cosmetics. That's the way to go.
And then there's a new really bad Lucio cosmetic.
What is it?
He looks like he's like really steampunk. He looks like a reject from season 3 of The Pickup Artist with steampunk legs.
I'm in.
He's got a hat and a bad. He's just bad. He looks bad. Just look at him on your computer right now. If you're at home, just Google image search "bad Lucio" and you'll see it.
All right.
Gross. All right. So that stuff's out
That's
now.
it. That's all I have to
Okay.
say about Overwatch. Lucio's a bad character.
Is he?
No, he's a good character. He
Okay.
deserves
He is.
better than this.
Yeah. I think that's safe to say.
I played a lot of when I played Overwatch, which was, let's say, almost a year ago.
About a year ago.
51 weeks ago.
Yeah. That's I played a fair amount of Lucio.
He's really fun.
All right. Here's an email from Daniel. I stumbled across a website that actually generates emoji domain names.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys know that these were a thing?
Yeah.
Have you been exploiting it? Is this the end of the internet as we know it? What emoji sites would you want to register?
Just
It looks like
All right, what the fuck's an emoji website? What?
like in the
The
URL.
the URL, the
is
domain name
emoji.
has an
It
emoji
could be
in it.
poopemoji.biz.
So he sent in a screenshot of giant and a bomb emoji
Okay.
dot. Actually, it looks like they all have to be .ws.
Oh.
Like the site that registers them.
Oh, maybe that's just
I
like
want.
They're all .ws's, so take that into consideration.
I mean, it's all just like Unicode or whatever, right? So you can just yeah.
I want the universal chef's kiss emoji .ws. It's like it's the kissing and the okay sign next to it .ws. I want that to be. Fuck, I said it now. It's
now it's gone.
Damn it!
Can never speak.
This is another swordsforgold.com incident.
Yep.
Maybe you could get like, is there a sword emoji and a gold emoji?
Oh, shit!
Well,
No,
fuck that up.
Shut up.
Man.
See, I have my real idea up here.
Just
that
pass
I have
me a
not
piece
said.
of paper.
Business ideas left and right down the drain.
It's a piece of paper with a poop drawing on it. That's all that's on there. It's like, here you go.
He went out of his way. He went out of his way to let us know that poop emoji.ws is already taken.
Oh, of course. That was the first one.
Yeah.
And it's taken by that emoji movie.
What about 3 poops?
Poop, poop, poop. Duke, Duke, Duke.
You can have emoji Wi-Fi network names and stuff too.
Oh, well.
Oh.
I think some
that's
devices
ridiculous.
will have trouble with that, but you can do it.
That's ridiculous.
I believe my Snapchat spectacles, which I purchased while I was away last week.
Oh, nice.
I believe so. That is a Wi-Fi network that the phone connects to when you want to download HD versions of the videos you shoot with your glasses. And by default, it has the sunglass emoji.
I want somebody to just take that sentence that you just said.
I don't know if
make
you're
that a
speaking
singular
English anymore.
thing, and that's our present.
Yeah. I bought a pair of Snap. I meant to bring them in, actually, and just record a bunch of videos while we were doing the show with my video recording Snapchat spectacles.
Mm-hmm.
They're dumb. And they sell them out of a vending machine on the beach.
They seem better than Google Glass.
Well, yeah, they're also like $100. Yeah. So instead of like fucking butt ass whatever dollars, $9,000
to look like Vegeta.
Yeah, just like look like an asshole and be able to do garbage. I have a Google Glass that I acquired for $0, and that was the right price.
Yeah. Do they even sell those anymore?
No,
No.
they're working on new stuff,
yeah.
but yeah, they discontinued that stuff.
They'll just buy Snapchat.
The glasses are ugly looking, but so it's like those when you export them out of Snapchat. Those are the videos. I don't know if you've seen some people posting them. I've posted a bunch where it is just a circle, like kind of a fisheye lens skate video look, and I really liked that look. When you view the videos in Snapchat, they don't look like that. They look like they take up the full screen, but you can rotate your phone. It's a really neat magic trick, dumb little thing. But I actually like the way they look when it's these little circles of video.
Yeah, those are cool.
So that's why I went and got them out of a vending machine. I was like, because that was the other thing. Is like you can order them, or there's like a vending machine in Santa Monica where they just sell them, or Venice, I think. So I took a walk up the beach. I had a little bit of time the morning before all the events started last week. I'm like, okay, this place opens at 11. First event's at noon. Totally gonna go do this. So I grabbed one Austin Walker and said, "You're coming with me on my adventure." And we got to the vending machines, and I was figuring like, oh, they're vending machines. I'm just gonna walk up and do it, and then walk back. But no, they have a person there who's like, "Hey, can I see your ID?" Like checking. I assume because people like it's $100 credit card charge for this vending machine. They're probably just people stealing credit cards left and right.
Yeah,
getting these glasses out of the machines and then selling them on eBay or whatever.
Or like a kid running up to his mom and being like, "Can I borrow? I want to get something from the vending machine. Can I borrow your card?"
Yeah,
and just coming back.
Yeah,
with
something dumb like that. So I was like, oh. This is way less cool that there's like people standing there like, I can show you how to pair it to your phone. I'm like, no, the whole point of this was I didn't want to have to interact with a human to buy my dumb video glasses.
That's the point of a vending machine.
These video glasses are stupid enough as it is with you standing here going like, I can show you how to. Like,
I need you to actually turn around while I buy these.
If you could just like don't look at me while I put the car. Oh. But yeah. Anyway, I bought those glasses and they're great. They're great.
They're great.
I like the way it looks.
Gross. Jack from Florida. I took an online timed quiz called Can You Name the Video Game System? And thought I'd do okay, but as it turns out, I did horribly because the list had 75 fill-in-the-blank spaces, and they wanted names of consoles from the early 1970s. When I looked at the answers, I couldn't believe some of the names of these consoles and wondered if you had any experience with them.
Let's hear them.
The ones that really caught my eye were the following. The 1976 Coleco Telstar.
Not real.
Yeah?
The Telstar, like some of those, as you go further back into the 70s, they're all just going to be those Pong machines.
Okay.
Like not cartridge-based, like not programmable in any way. Just like, it plays 4 games, and they're all kind of Pong.
And they're all built in.
Or one's a light gun game. Yeah.
It's like VR.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this one. The 1978 Bally Astrocade.
Yep.
Made up.
The Astrocade had really good sound. Well, it had sound hardware that matched the arcade sound hardware in a lot of cases. So, like the Astrocade version of Wizard of War just sounds like Wizard of War.
That's cool. The 1982 Emerson Arcadia 2001.
That one's definitely made up.
Common misconception.
Yeah.
I've played Arcadia games on a PC at one point.
Weird.
Skies of Arcadia?
Yeah, including Skies of Arcadia.
Emerson. I used to have an Emerson TV.
Yeah, well.
The 1993 Mega Duck.
Yeah, Mega Duck. That's
Super real.
The Mega Duck is one of those handhelds. Like there was a run of handhelds around the post Game Boy.
Yeah.
Where
wow! Look at that thing.
Oh, that's a Game Boy.
It's
just a Game Boy.
Gamate,
With like
the
a duck
Gamates,
bill on it?
whatever. But
Man,
Mega Duck is pretty sweet if you want to play like shitty.
That is just
Chinese portable games.
That is just a butt ugly looking Game Boy knockoff.
Yeah.
Also, Google image searching Mega Duck is fun because you get a lot of giant ducks
That's cool too.
mixed in with it. That's fun.
I'm going on a Mega Duck hunt.
Yeah.
Tune into my new show where we go to all the garage sales in search of a Mega Duck.
Oh man.
Didn't find one here either. Shit. Episode 27, Des Moines.
And then you can sell a home version of it and call it the Mega Duck game.
Mm-hmm.
4-player local co-op.
Everyone just needs to find a Mega Duck to win.
Yeah. Richard from London. Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
There is a right answer to
No,
this.
I mean there is, but this is a GIF where there is a right answer, but there is a wrong answer, and it's the right answer.
The right answer is Ubisoft.
Yeah. I was defiantly on Team Ubisoft
Yeah, me
for
too.
about 15 years.
The fucked
I
up thing
finally
though,
gave in.
is I'm pretty sure that Ubisoft was on Team Ubisoft for a chunk of time too.
You might be right.
Unless I'm just crazy.
Yeah.
But it is short for ubiquitous software.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's actually Ubisoft.
Shit.
It's
graphics
Everyone's
graphics
wrong.
interchange format.
I love the Ubisoft games like South Park.
I was always Ubisoft sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Now, but at one point I think I probably said Ubisoft.
It's because it's easier to say Ubisoft.
It's more fun too.
Yeah. Ubisoft. It's like a
Ubisoft
ghost.
just takes on some connotation of just
That's
like
right.
Ubisoft. Punk. I don't know. Yeah. It's a very standoffish company name. They don't like to talk about it that way, but that's what they meant.
They should just change it.
Yeah. THQ. That's probably what they should call it.
Yes.
THQ France.
Matt writes in from Montclair, New Jersey. I was wondering if you could share some of your thoughts on the likely repeal of net neutrality rules. Repealing these rules could directly affect your site, internet traffic, and download speeds. And it also has the possibility to irreparably damage internet latency and completely cripple online multiplayer gaming. Since this issue hits so close to home for you, I was wondering if you could share your point of view from a group of people that not only work in the industry but rely on high-speed, low-latency internet on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, internet seems like it's just kind of this basic service at this
Yeah.
point that I think everyone needs to have it and have it well.
Yes. Totally.
And around the world. And the idea of a company being able to pay for privileged access to the internet, I think is fucking fucked.
Yeah. Or selectively charge more for specific services.
Right.
Like there is utterly no upside for the end user
Yeah.
in this thing.
Yeah.
And we were almost there. We were basically there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We were almost there on a lot of things. I think it's a vital thing.
Yeah.
But not just as like what we do or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there'll be repercussions for what we do, but also like ultimately we're part of a large company that, you know, who knows what they would or wouldn't do if the rules changed.
Yeah.
I don't know what their stance is at a corporate level, but
And it would just fuck with us as individuals too, as
Right.
users
Yeah.
of the internet.
Yeah, it
Like
seems-
I'm online all the time, and
I'm online right now
It seems like 90
in multiple ways.
Yes.
Seems like 98% of the fuckery will occur between the internet provider and the end user, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are cases where content providers could
Well, I mean,
potentially get screwed
it
over.
creates
in
an
this.
unbalanced playing field. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if you think about if you think about why the internet exists at all and some of the original kind of ideals that it put forth, you know, back in the 90s,
Yep.
it was to be this even playing field.
Yep.
You know, and the difference was whether you had access to it at all or not. And over time, you know, obviously it's become this commercial, you know, it's how we do business. It's how everyone does business.
It is
now.
as vital a communication tool as exists
Yeah.
in this day and age.
And you know, back then people weren't necessarily thinking about it as a commercial thing. It was very much like, we are the people that brought you the well and all this other stuff, and now we are the techno hippies on the internet being information wants to be free crowd.
Yes.
Those people.
Yeah.
Which that's still I'm still into that on some level, I guess. But obviously, the nature of things has changed. Like it's a very big business tool.
Yes.
A lot of stuff gets sold on the internet, and I don't know. It's fucked.
Yes. It's
The
pretty terrible.
The main plot line of season 4 of Silicon Valley is about him trying to build a like peer-to-peer internet, and it's very interesting watching this as like this it's this crazy idea when I'm sitting here in real life being like.
As with almost everything, the absurdity of real life is quickly surpassing that of fiction.
Well, I wonder, so Riot was building their own internet.
Oh, right.
Their own separate, faster network for league matches.
Yeah.
Where they wanted like a lower latency thing, and they were like, hey, we're building our own separate dark fucking fiber network. And I wonder, does that end up being the way forward for some time until politically things change and line up a different way again? Or, like, are we doomed to go back and forth between those two things over and over again?
Yeah.
As whatever party swings back and forth and jerks the rules in whatever direction they please.
Yes.
It seems bad for people.
Yes, it 100% is. My hope is...
And bad for small business as well.
Totally.
Yes,
totally.
And medium-sized business.
Yeah.
Bad for everyone except a very, very small portion.
Yep. Corporate interests will love the shit out of it.
Unless you are deep in the pocket of big telecom, you should fucking hate this. It's kind of the nice thing about... I'm sure you love hearing this about being on Sonic is like, having a company that like very explicitly comes out in support of like
Sonic is a great. I was with Sonic before. I had a Sonic account before they started charging money for Sonic. Like when they it was like the people that administered the junior college internet provider started their own ISP.
They keep having these meetups and barbecues, and I keep almost going. It's like the weirdest thing. It's like I want to go meet my internet people because they're so cool.
Yeah.
But they know what you search for.
Yeah, I guess so.
They know what you're into.
But they're so good to me.
I don't know if I could face mine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Rabbids fan art. Safe search off.
Image size large.
It's just poop.ws over and over again. I don't get it.
Let's see. Guillaume writes in from Montreal. How long do you think the online stores and services will be active for the PS3 and 360? As the first generation of consoles to push digital stores and games, and the huge amount of people that pass to the next generation, I'm quite curious how long those services will be kept online. While some games could still be bought physically if needed, some games were digital only, and if they're not available on PC, they could be lost forever. Yeah. Especially true for PlayStation games, since Sony doesn't have a backwards program like the Xbox does. My personal guess for the shut-off date is 2021. 15 years after the console launch seems like a decent delay.
I'm going to say that lost forever is a... This stuff will not be lost forever because there are already people... archiving it in their own special ways.
But setting an easy way to go back and play.
But yes,
setting the preservation aspect aside, just like the business part of it. Like I think
in terms of like how long do these storefronts stay up? And all
it's weird because more and more stuff is going digital, like focused first. Yeah. So that stuff theoretically exists forever.
So I feel like when they shut off the original Xbox's internet stuff, when they shut off Xbox Live 1.0 or whatever you want to call it, that at the time they were like, we have built Xbox 360, Xbox Live with a lot of this stuff in mind, and that theoretically it wouldn't have to happen again.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But because if you think about it, like what was the limit? There was the problem with it was the friend limit was at one point causing issues with them for Xbox Live stuff. And that's part of
like
why.
If you had a full friends list, you couldn't do certain things.
Yeah,
I remember having to delete someone off my list in order to download something. Yeah.
So all the peer-to-peer matchmaking on 360 should work in perpetuity, right?
Peer-to-peer. So as long as Xbox Live is there to connect those players together, that should just keep going.
So presumably old 360 games should be playable online.
And they have done the work to, like, the Xbox 360 friends list continues to work even though the Xbox One friends system is very different. They found a way to make those interoperable. It's like kind of clunky if you were going back and forth, but it doesn't fucking set everything on fire the way that like early PS4 games were on fire if you had a full friends list, or maybe it's just Ubisoft games.
But in the future, worst case scenario, Sony goes under and is no longer able to provide that kind of service. What the hell do we do? What's the changeover? How do we get that stuff?
I don't know that there is one, because if they're out of business, they don't give a fuck.
But if they're out of business, they're probably selling off their business. Like there's a big difference between just going under and being like, well, that's it, and in all likelihood, another company would want to step in and acquire that stuff.
Yeah. Right. I'm just talking like a worst case scenario.
I feel like that worst case scenario is like, you've got a lot of other things to worry about beyond video games because we're eating newspapers for breakfast.
Yeah.
Hackers
have built their own PSN basically at that point.
At that point, not kind
already?
of right now or thinking about that sort of stuff.
Well, that's more widely available.
Yes. I don't think that actually exists right now, but that's not.
But that's
out
the
of the
point,
realm of possibility.
Like, would we have to rely on somebody, some outside interests, to archive that stuff and make it available?
If you want to actually preserve that stuff and not just be at the whims of like, does it help our business? Because at some point, if you think about the PS3 to PS4 change, like right now, the design of the PS3 online network actually is holding them back features-wise, in terms of like changing your name and all this other stuff. Like decisions made on the PS3 that were not forward-looking in the right way are now kind of limiting what they can do. So I think in the case of Sony, you could see a case where they're like, oh, actually, if we shut this down, there's a lot of good stuff we can do.
Right.
But I think actually there is a cleaner way to make those changes. That there was some Unreal patch notes. It was Unreal Engine patch notes like a long time ago that were like,
I think it was the UDK stuff.
Yeah, UDK stuff that was like, hey, shifting PSN name from this field to this field.
Yeah.
That actually would, if I'm reading it right, is exactly how they would solve the PS3, PS4 name change. All this other stuff.
Made it sound like that was on the way, but that was a while ago.
That was. So I keep,
maybe this is the year.
Maybe
not.
Who knows? But yeah, there are architectural reasons on the PS3 that like you would go like, if this thing was out of our hair, it would solve some issues for us.
Can you imagine if the Sony press conference just opens with like giant feed of the PS interface? Like Sean Layden is just changing his PSN name
to Crash Bandicoot
just like
420.
It's like wordlessly typing in a new username and changing it live on the stage.
Crowd explodes.
Crowd loses their
Change his
shit.
name to Jumping Flash 4.
People would be so excited. I've lost track of the number of people I know who hate their PSN name and desperately want to change it.
Yeah. I have 2 accounts because at some point that was the only way for me to change mine.
Yeah.
And that old account has digital purchases on it. That stuff's annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. In all likelihood, I think near term, I think that there aren't necessarily a ton of reasons to shut that stuff down.
Yeah.
Because I want to say that they did at least some of that work to ensure that it didn't have to happen, at least on the Microsoft side.
Yeah. Also, Microsoft's got the side benefit. By doing the backwards compatible stuff, they have a reason to keep that storefront up because they can keep selling those games because you can keep playing them. And also, like, I don't think there's any legal precedent around like keeping download servers up to keep serving games that you've bought previously, but like as long as they are in the business of not pissing off their customer base, they will keep the download option there, right? Like they kind of can't ever get rid of that.
That's the thing. When they shut down original Xbox Live, the number of digital purchases on the original Xbox, it was like 10 things. It was like Ms. Pac-Man and fucking Halo maps.
But you can't get those anymore, right? Like that went away.
Isn't that kind of a moot point anyway? Because we're just like effectively leasing the software. Like,
I mean,
I'm really entitled
probably
to
have legal cover, maybe. I don't know. I don't think that's
wonder.
been fully established.
If you read your license agreement, it says license agreement right in it and not ownership. So like they've probably got some leg to stand on.
But there is the hearts and minds
that,
component of just like, we just made several million people very angry. Yeah.
But
since none of us are lawyers, I'm just going to throw this question out.
Finally.
From Juan. Do you think Arcane and Bethesda...
I object. That's my...
Overruled, counselor.
Okay, all right,
Watch
continue.
yourself.
Sustained. Let's move on. Do you think Arcane and Bethesda could be hit with a lawsuit for including the enhanced for PS4 Pro tag on the Prey game box when the game clearly has no enhancements?
If anything, they would pass the buck to Sony on that. That probably puts that on everything that ships now. That's probably just part of the standard Sony packaging.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because every game was supposed to have enhancements by now.
I'm sure there's some sort of you could claim.
Also,
as
you could look as like, oh, the hard drive's faster, so it loads better.
Yeah.
Done. Like,
it's boost mode.
Yeah,
or so, they've probably got some out.
So probably, I don't know this. Don't have a lot of inside connections at Sony, but they probably have a pretty good legal team over there that makes sure they don't get sued for stuff like that.
You'd think.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer, and I can say that.
Okay.
It's fine.
Glad we do have one on staff.
This is Brett, our lawyer.
Yeah.
I just passed the bar.
I don't know why I have made this my pet issue, but like I'm so fucking annoyed every time a game comes out on that platform without anything in it.
For Pro, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of questioning why I got that thing.
It's been as a 4K.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a 4K,
owner,
that's the thing.
Like HDR. Well, I guess HDR is on the base models.
Yeah.
Too, right?
At some point, I decided not to get a 4K TV anytime soon, and that's when that thing started feeling useless.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see when Scorpio comes out if that changes things on the Sony end of things, because then you've got developers pushing past the PS4 Pro's specs.
Yes.
And maybe then they've got that target to hit too. I don't know.
We shall see.
That's the weird thing, is like the release of Scorpio could actually be a good benefit for PS Pro owners.
Hopefully. Daniel from Los Angeles. Kilts and the female equivalent seem like they are very comfortable. Have any members of Giant Bomb ever worn a kilt? If it were socially acceptable and didn't look terrible, would you wear a kilt?
I don't want that kind of. I like
it's
shorts.
a little too much exposure.
Well, for me, it's not the exposure. For me, it's just like I don't need that much fabric like out there.
Yeah.
I don't want tight shorts, but
dealing with the excess, like sitting down and kind of like
having it bunch
with
up.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you this: I have tied a jacket around my waist, and sometimes that sucks.
Yeah.
So I imagine a kilt to be a little bit more like that plus.
Yeah.
No.
I think PAX just ruined kilts for me.
Yeah.
Honestly. Drew's annual Utilikilt count.
Yeah, my wife bought me a Utilikilt.
Oh yeah,
I own one.
Yeah,
it's been sitting in a drawer for.
Have you ever worn it?
2 Renaissance festivals.
Okay,
just to feel like I was.
How comfy was it?
It was honestly actually really comfy.
Okay. Did you wear anything on? Did you wear underwear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I those days? No.
Yeah. Right.
It's pretty nice.
They didn't have underwear in the medieval times.
Yeah.
That'd be
no, the restaurant they say it's like a no shirt, no shoes thing, but like they're like, if you are wearing underwear, get the fuck out of here.
Especially if wearing 4 pairs, then they're just banned for life.
They're not about that. Marcus from Helsinki. Why no Virtual Cop VR? Original graphics, floating HUD in front of your face, justice shots.
Yeah, it's almost like Sega's bad at doing things with their catalog of IP that you want to see.
Yeah.
Look, let them get fucking Sonic right.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Let them do right by people that want a good old Sonic game.
And then we'll move on.
And then, they actually have been out there saying that they want to do more stuff with their shit. Yeah. So
that would be a pretty cool VR game.
As if, I guess, but like also.
What if they made a new Virtual Cop for VR?
I mean, I think that's what they would have to do, like old Virtual Cop.
What if they made an Alex Kidd for VR?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You play Rochambeau.
Yeah,
like in front of you.
Fuck.
Yeah.
With the controller, you actually, okay.
They would need hand tracking for that to work, because you got to be. If you can't just, if you're just still pulling a trigger or something like that, or that's still not enough.
You shoot if you want rock. You shoot the rock. If you want paper, you shoot the paper.
Yeah.
We got a lot of would you rather's.
Did they step it up?
It's the wrong podcast for this.
They kind of did. Is it?
Play the music.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cue the segment. We got a bunch of them. I pulled a few. Stanton from Sarasota, Florida, wrote one. Would you rather every movie you watch slowly transitions into Shrek?
Yes.
Or every song you listen to slowly transitions into All Star by Smash Mouth?
Ooh. That's a win. It's so tough when both the options are really good.
I mean,
would you rather?
If you go with Shrek, aren't you going to get All Star by default? Or like as part of the package?
Yeah.
What's the end song of that one? Do they sing All Star at the end?
I'm pretty sure.
Hallelujah towards the end.
I've never seen Shrek.
Really?
Oh, we should have a
I've never seen
any
of the Shreks.
Films in 40s.
Yeah.
Shrek.
What do you think about Mike Myers?
As a serial killer, he's great.
What about an axe murderer?
Does that little head tilt thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I think I think Mike Myers is really funny, but I think a lot of the stuff that he has been in have been things I don't want to see or don't want to see ever again.
You think he's been wasted?
Have you seen that he's hosting the new Gong Show as a character?
Is that actually him?
Really?
I saw that commercial.
That is Mike
and
Myers.
I was like, that kind of looks like Mike Myers.
He did an interview. It's very bad.
Who is he playing?
Extremely bad. I don't know his name, but he is like a cheesy talk show guy character, but super heavy makeup. I didn't recognize him right away. I had to read the article to be like,
that sounds fucking kind of cool.
Specifically, the commercial,
extremely weird.
The commercial, the wording of the commercial was like something like, "Guess who's hosting it?" or like, "You know who's hosting it?" and like. No, I didn't know who was hosting it, but I was like, that kind of looks like.
And he made it seem like he has this idea for an arc for this guy to suffer through.
Tommy Maitland is the name of the character.
That's a fucking great game show host.
That's the name. That's the name of the character he is playing to host the show. That's the getup.
Weird.
Some crazy latex prosthetics and stuff.
All right,
fake face.
Yeah, I'm glad he's coming back. I missed him. It's been a long time since the Love Guru.
This is a weird ass idea. Wow, they made a fake Twitter account for the guy and everything. That's all right, sure,
cool. That's a good weird place to go.
Yeah,
especially with the Gong Show.
Yeah, for sure.
New Gong Show sounds really fucking hard though. Honestly,
after X Factor, I mean,
well, yeah. Where do you go?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch any of what did they bring back last year? It was Match Game.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Like Alec Baldwin did Match Game, right?
Right.
And then
I watched a bunch of Let's Make a Deal.
Michael Strahan did.
Did they bring back Pyramid?
I think it was Pyramid that he did. Did you guys watch any of that stuff?
No. I watched one episode of Match Game.
Yeah.
And just Jimmy Pardo should host Match Game.
Oh my god!
They were doing Match Game shows touring around, doing it with him as the host. I know he tried out for it. He talked about that on his.
I mean, he's got a pretty sweet gig right now.
Oh yeah. But he was built for that. He was fucking built for that, man. Yeah. So I, in some kind of weird silent protest, I find it really hard to watch. Current Match Game, because I just look at it and go like, man, fucking what the fuck?
He's got the little skinny mic stem.
Yeah.
When I was on my vacation between jobs, I was watching a lot of Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady. And it's bad. He's very charming.
Mm-hmm.
He's still to this day, even when given the awful college students that he has to deal with and the awful setup of the show, which is inherently bad because it's just pick a box. Do you want the box or the bag? Do you want the bag or the room? And you just kind of just guess over and over again. But he's very charming and professional throughout the whole thing.
I liked original Let's Make a Deal when it was, or maybe it's not original because maybe there was some older version of that. But the version that was on when I was a kid, I was happy to watch it because it was just fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I wish the costumes were better. It seems like a lot of let's go to Party City and buy a chicken costume and put that on.
Yeah.
Braden from South Carolina. You asked for better Would You Rathers, but my proposal is a little tweaked. If I gave you a button that, if pressed, would make you an instant billionaire, but you would wake up every day with a hangover no matter what you did the night before. The hangover would last 4 hours from the time you wake up, and nothing you do will rid you of the hangover. Would you press the button?
Yes.
How many times can I press the button?
I think just the once.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like my day anyway.
I don't think so. I don't think.
Only 4 hours of the day?
So I'm going to say no.
It does go away?
Here's why I would. A, you're a billionaire.
Yep.
That should be argument enough. But
granted.
B, you can party so fucking hard every night and not have to worry about I better make sure I don't have a hangover tomorrow because you're gonna have a hangover the next day.
He doesn't stipulate that you're not going to have a real hangover underneath your shitty fake hangover.
Yeah, if it's compounded.
What if you have a double hangover and then you have the rest of your real hangover?
If he said it just lasts 4 hours, though, I take that to mean that, if you fucking were still drunk from the night before, you would still... If I take a nap, does that enact it?
He says the hangover is non-negotiable. It's there every day.
No, I mean, do I get an extra hangover a day if I were to take a mid-afternoon nap? Would I wake up from that hungover?
It just says you wake up every day with a hangover.
Guess what? You still have...
I think only in the morning then. When you wake up for the day is the only...
Okay, so I mean, I would set my alarm for an hour and then wake up, feel like shit, and go, I gotta go back to bed.
Yep.
This is what I do most of the time if I have
no.
a hangover, and go back for 4 more hours.
Hangover pauses at that point.
Guess what
It
you get
just
to do?
kicks back in.
I think the spirit of this is that
Yeah.
you have to suffer through the hangover.
You get to be a billionaire for 20 out of 24
Yeah.
hours without a hangover. Here's a list of things you can do as a billionaire.
It's a compelling argument.
Go to anywhere. Do anything. That's the list.
Yeah, I know. Except that you
Hey, I'm having
Nah.
a hangover on my private chain of islands.
except that I know that every day that I am hungover, I do nothing. Like I don't
have to
I
do
don't get off the
anything, though.
couch.
I mean, just
I drank some Four Loko over the weekend.
yeah. Ooh.
And I woke up feeling fine, like a little off. So if it's like how I get a hangover currently, I would probably take it because it's usually I'm usually pretty. I'm a pretty mild hangover.
Yeah.
I got the first hangover of my life, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, see, I think a lot of this is age related. Like I am at the point where hangovers are borderline debilitating now.
For me to get like one of those kind of hangovers, it's at some point it's crossing the line of just like I'm actually still drunk. It's when I usually get if I get a hangover. Last real bad hangover I had was actually at Dice.
Yeah, that's a good place to have it. Well, not a good place, a likely place.
It's a likely place to get.
You know where is a
hangover.
good place to have a hangover? In your mansion, because you're a billionaire.
Yeah, I guess so.
Give me that button. I'm gonna hit that button so many times that I'm gonna break the button. I'm gonna like build a shrine to that button, and I'm gonna wake up with my hangover, feel like shit, and then look at my money and do a Scrooge McDuck swim through while I'm having a hangover of a giant pool of money.
That's fair.
Pay me.
I think I might be on board with that also.
I don't know if I could look forward to a lifetime of feeling like shit every day when I woke up.
Welcome to
I
my
mean, that's
life.
gonna happen anyway. That's what getting older is. It's just more and more suffering until you're dead.
Great,
Hey,
thanks.
welcome to the Giant Bombcast. It's a
All
video
right.
game podcast
Well, hey,
where we have fun.
All right, on that note, Josh from North Carolina, would you rather know how you die or when you die?
If I know how I die, I feel like I'm going to know when I die.
Here's his rationale. Personally, I would like to know how because I wouldn't live knowing when my time was coming, and I would be more reckless. I'd like to know your feelings on evading death or getting caught in the death.
Yeah, I suppose if you know that you're going to get hit by a car or something, you'd probably jump out of more airplanes for the hell of it. Huh.
What if you jump out of an airplane and your parachute doesn't work, and
Right.
as you're plummeting to the ground, you get hit by a
Oh,
truck?
God. See, now I'm worried about that.
I think I would.
But if you knew when you were going to die, you could live right up to that moment as fucking intense as you wanted.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the end of summer vacation effect of like the closer you get, the shittier you feel.
Yeah, I think
That one has a weird effect where you don't know when you're going to die until you know when you're going to die. So if you find out, it's like, oh, 25 years. You're like, okay. But it could be like, oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas if you're like, oh, how am I going to die? Heart disease. Okay, great.
All right, I've probably got 50 years left.
Yeah. I got, some time to whatever.
And let's go skiing or do whatever, and who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I know I can go skiing and I'm not going to die.
Yeah. But I guess you could end up fucking like almost dead.
Yeah,
plenty of
that's
times.
true. You could get hospitalized and
Yeah.
still not die. Here's how you're going to die. Someone's going to pull the plug.
Yeah, great. Or what if like, hey, you're gonna die in a car wreck, and you're like, I'm just gonna then I'm gonna stay inside forever, because then I know that I'm gonna see a car crash through this house before I die.
Set up a live stream of it.
Here's one from Brody. Would you rather always be wearing roller skates or step in dog poop every day? Here are the details. The roller skates are permanently attached to your feet. You effectively have no feet anymore, just roller skates. They cannot be removed at any time, even for sleeping or bathing.
It's like Boogie Nights.
You can pick any style you'd like, but once you pick, that's it. They're on forever. The poop step will occur once per day, every day, for the rest of your life. It will happen at a random moment, unexpectedly, and cannot be avoided. The poop does not care if you're wearing shoes at the time or not, and can even manifest itself inside your home as you take your first step out of bed. Also, the poop is real, so you'll need to clean it up after the event occurs. The size and consistency will vary, but it will always be a realistic variant of dog poop.
Oh, dog. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Well,
Yeah, that's
I
important.
have 2 questions.
Okay.
One,
I am the would you rather arbitrator.
good. Am I as good at roller? First of all, can it be rollerblades? Or do they have to
Yeah,
be
he
skates?
says any style.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Am I at my current level of rollerblading knowledge, or am I like, am I good at it? Am I good enough to like?
real
I
good
think you
real
would get
quick.
good very quickly because you would have to.
Maybe.
I don't know how to roller skate at all now,
No.
so it'd be fun to know.
Yeah. The one time I ever went roller skating, there was a place, and they have the big oval kind of thing rink where you can skate around. And I was so bad that I was crawling along. They have the handrail, and I was just like kind of walking basically and holding onto the handrail. And I was going very slow. I got about halfway around when they dimmed the lights, and they're like, "All right, everyone, it's time for couples skate. So everyone get off the floor, and all the couples are going to come on." But I wasn't confident enough to skate across the ring to the entrance, so I just kept going, and all these couples started coming onto the floor. The mood lighting came on, and really like romantic music, and I'm just there in the background, like slinking along.
I went to a birthday party at Cal Skate when I was a kid, and they made me get skates. The people that ran the place, like I wanted to just play games because they had a Karate Champ machine and some other shit. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, well, I'm just going to play video games because I don't know how to skate, and I'm not going to learn today because fucking none of these people are going to teach me, and I don't want to die out here. They made me get skates, so I had to like kind of just fucking very carefully, like I was, by the end of it, I was like gripping this arcade machine going like, I'm going to fucking die if I let go of this. It was the fucking worst.
So yeah, I guess I choose dog poop.
All right then.
Give me them skates.
Yeah.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah, you in?
Yeah.
Do you think would people treat you weird?
I don't know.
Good.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
They would just think I had really bad luck. Like, damn, dude.
No, I mean if you had the skates.
He's got the skate feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If my feet
Don't
were
look at
roller
him funny.
skates,
that might be a little.
could I just pick like Heelys?
Oh,
I guess that counts as a style of skates. Sure.
Style skate.
Ooh, that's not a
Shit.
bad idea.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Okay.
We've outsmarted this
Mm-hmm.
manufactured scenario.
I'm with you.
Ha!
That's right. Is this the last one? I think this is the last one. Yes. John from South Florida. With all the poop. Would you rather have to poop 10 times a day or 1 time per month through your mouth?
Once
Once a
Once
month.
a month.
once a month.
Yeah.
That's 10 times a day is
It's
like
too
That
inconvenient.
is highly.
it's two fewer than I go now.
That is hemorrhoids waiting to happen. I
Yeah.
do not want that.
Mm.
Yeah, just once in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
I mean,
suck it up and
beforehand,
get through it.
Once in the mouth, they call
Well,
it.
you
They
don't
have,
suck it up.
You just eat one of those miracle berries that makes everything taste good, and then I'm sure you're fine.
Beautiful.
Man, you guys are getting too good for these.
Yeah, we're champions.
These would you rather's just got destroyed.
Oh shit! Another batch.
Yep. All right.
Now who shit the bed? Yeah.
Or the mouth.
Or the mouth. Now who shit the mouth?
Right.
You can make a lot of money if you pooped out of your mouth. I think.
Yeah.
A
How-
lot of people would pay to watch.
Go
that.
on.
Like you could record
just
yourself
live
doing that and
stream.
just live stream it.
Okay.
Who needs a billionaire button?
A monthly live stream. Yeah, that's my billionaire button.
What if you turned it into like a prank stream?
Yeah,
Like just
where it's just like,
Like, waiter, there's something in my soup.
like does it come out like vomit at the speed
I don't know.
and you know? Or
I know. I think it's just like
Is it ooze out like a fucking like we went to the yogurt place? Because that's
Yes.
harsh.
yes.
All depends on what you ate.
And then you
guess
could
so.
go to the yogurt place once a month and just.
Hey, check this out. I'm like the yogurt machine, but worse.
hey, you want some yogurt?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
After 3 months, you just walk in the door and there's, sir, please.
Please, sir.
Please just leave.
Hey, what's up? Can I get a sample cup?
Can I get?
I'm Mr. Yogurt. But my yogurt stinks.
Oh boy.
All
All
right,
right.
Nathan, for you.
Bombcast.giantbomb.com is the email address.
Stop sending us poop stuff.
Yeah.
More pee stuff, please.
Yes.
That's more down my
That's-
alley.
Yes, that's your brand.
Please don't.
Because
Because I forget that I say that as a joke and then people actually do it.
Yep. That'll happen. That'll happen. What do we got going on this week? Before we get out of here?
I got that Destiny footage,
Yeah,
so
we
we're gonna
should
take a look at that
sit
stuff.
down- sit
If you want to
down
see that strike.
scrub through that.
There's some new racing game coming out today.
Yeah, there's
What's
a
that about?
driving game. It's weird. I don't know, something about roller coaster upside down tracks.
In VR, yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at that.
Yes.
I'm gonna check out the new Fire
Yeah,
Emblem.
there's a new Fire
Yeah.
Emblem out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
I got stuff later this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll find some stuff to do.
yeah, there's some stuff that I I got some stuff we can record. I'm just not sure if it's a little old now, so we'll see.
Games are games.
Games are games.
Games
and
are
we're
games.
We're
Yes.
getting ready for E3.
But yes, E3
too,
planning
so-
is eating up a lot of time
yeah,
now. So
getting it going.
Yep. That's
some guest books, some appointments books.
GameSpot's got a giant TV hanging out there with a E3 countdown on it.
Yeah, that really sucks.
I avert my eyes.
It said like 18 days or something. Like
weeks.
what? What the
3
hell?
weeks from today.
Yeah.
That starts.
It's gonna be rough for us because we've got to have like the truck pulled or like the studio tore down, and like a week before we actually leave.
We lose the ability to do video stuff like a week before the show starts.
I'll work something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll just stream from Jeff's glasses.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah, they don't stream. It's just every time you push the button, it records 10 seconds.
Yep.
So, excellent short videos.
Yep. Really quick looks.
Really quick.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go get back to that stuff then.
Yeah.
We'll see you later this week with some more stuff, and next week back here for another Giant Bombcast.
For a great shave at a great price, join Dollar Shave Club. New members get their first month of the Executive Razor and a tube of Dr. Carver's Shave Butter for only $5 with free shipping. After that, razors are just a few bucks a month. That's $15 in value for only $5. Get yours at dollarshaveclub.com/bombcast.